Ohio gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Drafts Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, the Central League, or their sponsors. We are giving live English reports on the game being played and hope that English-speaking audiences and fans around the globe can enjoy the games on YouTube and Twitch along with us. Today, from the Zozo Marine Stadium, we are going to be bringing you the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Chiba Lotte Marines. First off, we're going to give you the lineup for the visitors from Fukuoka. Leading off and playing second base, wearing number 68, is Masaki Momori. Batting second and playing in center field, wearing number 30, is Naoki Sato. Batting third and playing in right field, wearing number 9, is Yuki Yanagita. In the cleanup spot and wearing number 27 is Urizabel Graciel. Batting fifth and playing in left field, wearing number 24 is Ryoya Kurihara. Batting sixth and playing third base, wearing number 3 is Freddie Galvis. Batting seventh and playing first base, wearing number 7 is Akira Nakamura. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, wearing number 6 is Kenta Imamiya. And batting ninth and doing the catching, wearing number 19, is Takuya Kai. And they are going to be facing Kazuya Ojima. Ojima for the Chiba Lotte Marines last year was 10-4. He pitched in 146 innings. He had 123 hits. He allowed 65 runs, 61 earned, while walking 55 and striking out 92. He also posted an ERA of 3.76. And now the starting lineup for the home team for the Chiba Lotte Marines. Leading off and playing in left field, wearing number 38, is Akito Takabe. Batting second and playing in right field, wearing number 79, is Leonis Martin. Batting third and playing second base, wearing number 8, is Shogo Nakamura. In the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting, wearing number 54, is Brandon Laird. Batting fifth and playing first base, wearing number 32, is Toshiya Sato. Batting sixth and playing in center field, wearing number 25, is Hiromi Oka. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, wearing number 4, is Yudai Fujioka. Batting eighth at third base, wearing number 13, is Taiga Hirasawa. And batting ninth and doing the catching, wearing number 99, is Tomoya Kakunuma. And they're going to be facing Tsuyoshi Wada, who gets to the mound today. Last year, he was 5-6 on the season. He had 94 and a third innings pitched. He allowed 95 hits, walking 27 and striking out 83. And he pitched to a tune of a 4.48 earned run average. That's the starting lineups for today's ball game. First pitch is in about 3 minutes. We'll be back in just a couple moments after some tunes with all the action. We're glad you can be here with us tonight. We'll be right back in just a couple. Stay tuned, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. The Chiba Lotte Marines are taking to the field, and the starter, Kazuya Ojima, is headed to the mound to begin his warm-up tosses. And it is a game 2 of the series. Last night, game 1 went extra innings, and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks scored a run in the top of the 10th inning to knock off Chiba 2-1. It was a well-pitched ball game, as the Hawks had only 5 hits, and Chiba was allowed only 2. And it was in front of just over 23,000 fans at the Zozo Marine Stadium. Tonight it is mostly cloudy as the ball game is about ready to get underway. The long-term range was they were calling for sunshine, but the clouds have moved in. It's got a lot of cover, but the players are in their sleeves, but the fans are not bundled up. They've got themselves some sleeves on themselves and a lot of jerseys in the stands for the Chiba Lotte Marines tonight. So we want to welcome everybody to our YouTube channel as we're ready to get this one underway as Ojima is just completing his warm-up tosses. It's an early game today. It is at 2 o'clock local time or Japan time. All the other games are going to be later starts today, which is unusual as we're getting a midweek game, but we're also going to have another one tomorrow. So we'll be back on the air again tomorrow, the same time, same place for the third game between these two teams. And then we'll be on to giving some more coverage over the course of the weekend. So last night, the win went to Madiyoshi in relief. The loss went to Nishino. And Mori had picked up the save. To get into that save situation, it was the left-hander, Levon Boinello, who actually blew the save in the 8th inning to tie the ball game, and then they had to go extras for the Hawks to come out on top. Well, everybody, the pitcher has completed his warm-up tosses. Ojima is now walking around the mound. We're ready to get this one underway. Leading off for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks is the second baseman, Masaki Minori. He'll be followed by Naoki Sato and Yuki Yanagita. It is a nice day for ball. We're ready to get this one underway. Left-hander Ojima gets up onto the slab, and we're ready to get this one going. He's throwing from almost the pseudo-stretch position, and the first pitch is a fastball that's taken upstairs for ball one, and this one is underway at 2:01 or 14:01 Japan time. There's a fastball delivered that's taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. Momori on the season is batting .333. He's got no homers, a couple RBIs, and he's got a stolen base to his name. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. 333 average is deceiving. He's only 5 for 15, and there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul on the third base side, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Momori. Last season, Momori hit .249. He didn't have any homers. He had 20 runs batted in. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. And there's a fastball that swung on. It's grounded softly to short. It's fielded neatly by Yudai Fujioka. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Momori for the first out of the ball game. That goes as a ground out 6-3 for out number 1, and that's going to bring up Naoki Sato. We've got St. Louis Cardinals fan 1990 and Blue Jays fan in the house. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in. So 1 away, and Sato comes to the plate. Sato is looking for his first hit of the season, and he takes a first pitch fastball outside for ball 1. The count is 1-0. He is 0 for 5, and he's got nothing across the slash line yet. There's a fastball delivered from Ojima, and that misses down at the ankles, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. It's not a full house today, and I would anticipate that the attendance is going to be a little bit lighter than yesterday, being it's a day game. There's a fastball upstairs that swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-1 to Sato. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. Ojima back to work quickly, and it's a fastball that just misses under the hands. And the count is now 3-1. Ojima working quickly, he delivers another fastball, and that one is upstairs, and Sato has drawn himself a 1-out walk here in the top of the first inning. So with Sato aboard, that is going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. Yanagita is off to a rather slow start so far, as a lot of the hitters in the Fukuoka lineup would indicate. Really, Graciel and Kurihara are getting it going, but everybody else around them, it's a little bit of a challenge. Although Kenta Imamiya has also gone off to a good start. I say the Kenta Imamiya because he's usually a light-hitting shortstop. Ojima flicks the ball over to first base, and getting back easily, standing up is Sato. Yanagita digs in. And the first pitch to Yanagita is a fastball that misses off the plate, and the count is now 1-0. For Yanagita on the season, he's hitting $125. He is 2 for 16. He's got no homers and a couple of runs batted in. Left-hander against the left-hander. Ojima ready to go to work, and he throws over to first base. This time it was a lot quicker, as the base runner Sato has to come back hard head first. but he was still in there safely. So here comes the 1-0 pitch to Yanagita. And again, over to first base and a different looking move. That was a little quicker that time. It was one of his better moves. He didn't have such a big leg kick, did Ojima. He just really sort of snap-throated over to first base. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. Ojima kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. The count goes to 1-1 to Yanagita. I'm not sure what Yanagita was doing there. It had been 3 consecutive balls in a row by the lefty Ojima. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Ojima holds at the belt. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count goes to 1-2. The designated hitter, Yurizabel Graciel, is waiting his turn on deck. The infield is shading a little bit to the pull side for Yanagita. Fukuoka is more up the middle. And again, Ojima fires over to first base. This time it was even a closer play, and back in time is the base runner Sato, just making it back under the tag. So 1 ball and 2 strikes still to Yanagita. There's 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Ojima gets the sign from his catcher Kakanuma. And again, he throws over to first base. And this time they did get Sato at first base. The first base umpires come up with an emphatic out call. And Sato has been picked off. But before we actually etch that in the book, the manager Fujimoto is already up off the bench wanting it to go to a review. So we're going to see what the review has to say. I was starting to say last week, I was thinking about maybe keeping score on how we do. So on the original play, I thought it was fairly close. It was a tough angle. We didn't get a great angle of it. But on the replays, I'm curious to see what our call will be here and if we agree with the umpire. So here, our first look at the replay. The first look at the replay, the throw, in my opinion, was in time, but the tag came up into the body of the player because the throw was not necessarily right to the bag. So I think if they make they could easily overturn this just because of where the tag was and where the hand position. So I think the hand may have got back to the base. We haven't seen a good enough angle yet on any of the 3 that they've shown us. But the ball definitely beat the runner to the base. Now, whether or not the tag was applied in time is another story, but it was a high tag. In the old days, I'm surprised they would have even given it to him because of where the tag position was. So as we wait for the officials to come back from their congregation, I'll make the prediction, and I will say that based on what I'm seeing, it's inconclusive. They're going to call him out. So we're waiting for the return to the call here. And they are taking a while with this one, so it's not a bang-bang play or an easy play. We appreciate everybody being here tonight. And as we wait for the VAR to come back, we are going to be on the air again tomorrow night for these same 2 teams in Game 3. The weather forecast for tomorrow is a little bit dicey. So we're hoping we can squeeze this one in as well tomorrow. So as we wait, with Yuki Yanagita at the plate with a 1 ball and 2 strike count, the base runner Sato review to the base is still being reviewed. And we'll have more of this action as it continues here in just a minute. But we've seen multiple angles, and for us, it's too difficult to tell. I would probably stay with the call on the field. And here comes the umpires, and they have stayed with the call on the field, which is an out. And so a challenge has been burned by Fukuoka, so that's going to go down as a pickoff. 1-3 for Ojima. And he's got himself out of a little bit of difficulty here in the first inning. So Yanagita at the plate with a 1-2 count. He's got a slightly open stance. And he's going to have to come back to work. Ojima, as we say, works from a pseudo stretch. He has a bit of a little step back before he delivers. And there's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yanagita is one of those players that when you look at him, he really fills out the uniform well. And Q Henry says, who do you like to win this one? There's a fastball swung on it. It's hit back right at the pitcher. It's off of the shin. He has to jump off the mound and field the ball. He's able to step and throw once he recovers it. And Yanagita is retired. But Ojima got hit as it came up. It hit him and then it went into his shin. He's walking off and he's sort of rubbing it a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be okay. That's going to go down as a put out or a ground out, 1-3 for the third out of the inning. So for Fukuoka in the top half of the first inning, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through a half an inning. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines, nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. And we want to welcome Q Henry and Enzo MMA to the house. We appreciate you guys being here tonight and checking out all the action. Hold tight. We'll be right back. Here's our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the first inning. It is a 0-0 ball game with Chiba coming to bat. It's going to be Akito Takabe, Leonis Martin, and Shogo Nakamura to get things going for the Marines in their half of the first inning. We've got guys that are asking about live video links for this game. Are there any links to the game? And they're wanting to know what is going on with that. We don't provide live links. I will say this for everybody that is interested. If you're in the United States, DAZN used to be covering the games and you could pick up stuff there. And I'll talk a little bit about more of that as we go on. And the first pitch to Takabe is a fastball down and in, and the count is 1-0. So one ball and no strikes. And back to work goes Wada. He delivers a fastball, and that is swung on and missed. And now the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Wada then goes back to work, and he delivers a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is now 2 balls and a strike. One thing about Tsuyoshi Wada, he really works quickly. And he's back to it again, and there's a fastball that is swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 2-2. For Takabe on the season, he's batting .200. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. Wada ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. It is a fastball swung on and missed. And Takabe is down on strikes for the first out here in the bottom half of the first inning. And that is going to bring up Leonis Martin. Martin on the season has yet to get a hit. He is a former big leaguer. Of course, he's been with the Detroit Tigers, the Seattle Mariners, Cleveland Indians, and Texas Rangers organizations. We thank for everybody that has bounced in here to listen tonight. We appreciate you being here. We do this quite often. And here comes the first pitch from Wada to Martin, and it's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Leonis Martin, of course, has come over to the NPB, and he's been able to prolong his career. So 1 ball and no strikes. Wada ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count is now 1-1 to Martin. I told a story about Leonis Martin a few years ago when he was with the Texas Rangers. He got himself into a little bit of hot water. He basically, what he did is he wrote his name and his phone number on a baseball and flipped it to one of the gals in the stands. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And of course, what he didn't know, it was a friend of one of the newspaper beat reporters. So Martin ended up calling, or she ended up texting Martin, And then Leonis Martin sent her some provocative photos. And there's a fastball delivered to Martin, and it's fouled away, and the count is 1-2. And what had ended up happening was she basically kind of ratted him out and said, hey, he's sending provocative pictures and all these different things. And I think that was one of the last antics that kind of run out of Texas before he was traded to the Seattle Mariners. So here comes the 1-2 pitch from Wada. There's a fastball that swung on and missed, and Martin is down on strikes for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that is going to bring up Shogo Nakamura. So Enzo's asked the question, and I'll get to you, Enzo, as I can move along here. It is a great night for baseball. We got Big Ray in the house, and Sean Lockhart says, how do you all watch this game live? Well, if you're in the United States, DAZN was carrying these games last year. I don't know if they're picking them up this year, but I also understood they were carrying them in Japanese only. So we had a lot of people in listening to our feed and syncing it to the game. The first pitch to Shogo Nakamura is a fastball that misses down. And Wada's ready to go back to work. Again, he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It's a jam job. It's popped up over to the second base side of the infield. And the second baseman, Momori, is going to make the catch in shallow right field. And that is going to do it here in the first inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines in their half of the first, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 1 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines, nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes with the call of all the action. And so, as we do with our other stuff, we do have some Japanese baseball memories from the Hall of Fame. Got a chance to go there a couple years ago. Check these out. Welcome back, everybody. As the starter Ojima completes his warm-up tosses, it's going to be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Fukuoka batting order. That means it's going to be Yorizabel, Graciel, Ryoya Kurihara, and Freddie Galvis to get things going for the Hawks in their half of the first inning. It's a great night for baseball. As we mentioned, this is an early afternoon start Japan time. This is a 2 p.m. or a 1400-hour first pitch. We'll be back on the air again tomorrow. And so we appreciate you guys being here. We've got the Frosties 8 in the house here as well. We got GTA Mods. We also have Chuck Tries here. Yeah, it would be a great job if we could do that, Chuck. And I totally agree with you. The problem is that I've got a little bit of a challenge with the banners, but I'm going to try to work on something, and hopefully in the future I can come up with something like that. If I was using Stream or OA or what is it, Streamlabs, I might be able to do that a little bit better. But it is a great idea, and we'll try to improve as we move along. And so the first pitch delivered to Graciel is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count quickly goes to 0-1. For Graciel on the young season, he is 5 for 15. He's hitting .333 with no homers and a couple RBIs. Here's the pitch from Ojima. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into deep right field. Moving back onto the warning track, but he's got room, is Leonis Martin. He's going to make the catch. And that's 1 up and 1 away here in the top of the second inning. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Ryoya Kurihara. Kurihara has been off to a fast start for the Hawks. He's batting .357. He's got a couple of homers already and 4 RBIs. He gets the nod in left field tonight. Kurihara, of course, came to the Hawks as a catcher, but his bat works so well, they had to find ways to get him into the lineup. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. Appreciate you, Andrew, for saying that, and we thank you for being here. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to ball and a strike to Kurihara. Kurihara batting from the left side against the left-hander Ojima. Lefty against the lefty. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses off the outside corner. And the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Ojima ready to go back to work. He delivers again. It's a fastball swung on. And it's lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side. And the count goes to 2-2. I will say this about both pitchers. Both Wada and Ojima are really quick workers. You don't waste time in between pitches. They get the ball and they are ready to go. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on, and this is grounded up the middle. It's going to get past the glove of the second baseman Nakamura, and that's going to be the first base hit of the ball game. And Kurihara continues his hot hitting as he's aboard with a 1-out single. Not only is it great to be doing baseball at 1 a.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Pacific time, it also means I get able to get to sleep during the night. Try to get to do some of those games at 2 a.m. Pacific. It makes it for a daunting task. And here comes the third baseman tonight. This is Freddie Galvis. Freddie Galvis on the season, he's only hitting 143. He's got a homer and 4 RBIs. And the first pitch from Ojima is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. So Freddie Galvis has come over. He signed a 2-year deal with the Hawks. It's a bit of an intriguing maneuver. I've talked about this on previous Hawks streams. I don't understand why he didn't stick around at least for another crack at play in the big leagues. And there's a fastball swung on. This is hammered over the shortstop's head. It's going to get down in front of the left fielder on 2 hops. And that is a base hit single for Freddie Galvis. It's going to move Kurihara to second base. And with 1 out, the Hawks have something brewing here in the top half of the second inning. So Kurihara is now the runner at second. Galvis is the runner at first. Just to finish off on Galvis, Galvis has over 9 years of major league service time. To collect the full pension, a player has to have 10 years, and it's a very lucrative pension. And it's a bit of a surprise why he didn't try to stick around for that final year. So Galvis steps up is at first, Kurihara is at second, and now that brings Akira Nakamura to the plate. And the first pitch to Nakamura is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Nakamura on the season is hitting .286. He's got nothing on his slash line, so no homers, no RBIs, and no stolen bases. Lefty against the lefty. Ojima holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball. It's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. Nakamura's got a very odd batting stance. He's very, very upright. He has a slightly open stance, but what's odd about it is as he stands straight on his left leg, his right foot, his toe is almost off of the ground. His heel is straight up, and it's a really bizarre start to his stance. So Ojima ready to go back to work. They are concerned about the base runner Kurihara at second. The shortstop Fukuoka is sneaking in behind him. Ojima ready to go to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that's well off the outside corner. And the count goes to 1-2. Sean Lockhart says they got an MLB player. That's crazy. Well, they got a bunch of former MLB players in the game tonight. Obviously, there's Leonis Martin and Brandon Laird in the lineup for the Chiba Lotte Marines. And then, of course, you've got Freddie Galvis for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Yurizabal Gracial did play in North America, but he never got to the big league level. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ojima kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right center field. It's down for a base hit. 1 run. It gets by the center fielder, Oka, and it goes all the way to the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And running over to third base and sliding in safely is going to be Nakamura. And so that's going to go down as a single and an RBI. The second run, Galvis, who crossed the plate, is not going to be considered an RBI because there's no way he would have scored if that ball doesn't go underneath the glove of the center fielder. But both Kurihara and Galvis score by the shoddy fielding by the center fielder, Oka. And Nakamura with a single and RBI, he goes all the way to third on a two-base error. And that is where we stand with one away here in the second inning. So I don't think I'm calling it a triple. I would have said single with the error on the center fielder. We'll get the official scoring on that in a couple of minutes. But they have a conference on the mound to come up and talk to their left-handed pitcher. What I'd be concerned about if I was Chiba is those last three balls have been struck hard. Even though they were singles, each one was a bullet. So that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kenta Imamiya. If there was ever a time for a suicide squeeze, this would be it. Imamiya has the all-time record in the Pacific League for sacrifice bunts. So he's always able to put the ball into play. So here comes the first pitch to Imamiya. Ojima kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Big Ray says, nice call on the play. We appreciate you, Big Ray. So 1 ball and no strikes to Imamiya. He kicks and delivers, does Ojima, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now goes even at 1-1. Ojima has not made things easy for himself in this inning, as his pitch count is now starting to ratchet up a little bit after a fairly efficient first inning. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. And it is a fastball swung on. It's tapped foul just by the first base coach's box. That's going to run the count to 1-2 to Imamiya. See, in this situation here, what I would have thought they may have done with a hitter that can really handle the bat, I would have thought that Imamiya maybe tried a little safety squeeze or maybe a little push bunt towards the second baseman. They do have the infield in at the corners, and the shortstop and second baseman are still a little bit behind the infield grass, or what would be the infield grass on this turf field. And there is a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up softly over towards second base, and Shogo Nakamura is going to backpedal and make the grab. And that is going to do it for Imamiya, as he is the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the catcher, Takuya Kai. Takuya Kai on the season is batting $1.25. He's got no homers and an RBI. Every time we seem to watch the Hawks play, Kai always seems to have a big game. He is one of those players when we show up, each team seems to have one of those guys. For the Hawks, for us, it's Kai. Usually when we're doing the Golden Eagles games, it's Igoro Moji. So here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball that misses down. A nice block by the catcher, Kakanuma, to keep the ball in front. So 1 ball and no strikes. The pitcher, Wada, is up and throwing in front of the visiting team dugout. That's something that's unique to Japanese baseball. The pitchers will get up and start throwing in front of the dugout, usually when there's a couple out, or if the inning is a little bit longer than their liking. And there's a fastball delivered to Kai, and he fouls it away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Ojima gets himself a new baseball, and he rubs it up, and he's ready to go back to work. The Marines are in their white home uniforms with the pinstripes today. They've got the black hats, the black sleeves, but Ojima's got a baby blue glove. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. Big Ray says we're playing the dual commentary on this, the color and the play-by-play. Hopefully we can hold out here for the 7th and 8th inning. We're on the field tonight with a practice with some of our younger guys, the younger kids that we're working with, and sometimes the voice gets to be a bit raspy. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there is a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul over on the first base side. And the count is still 1-2. We have all the remedies to make sure this game goes all right. We've got our hot tea. We've got our hot chocolate. If the game got out of hand, we'd maybe have some hot whiskey, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But you can never be unprepared. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ojima ready to go back to work, and there's a fastball down in the dirt. Another good block by the catcher Kakanuma. That runs the count now to 2-2 to Takuya Kai. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kai. Kakanuma gives the assign to his pitcher, and Ojima is ready to go back to work. He's set at the belt. Setting up inside for the pitch. Here it comes to Kai, and he misses badly. Outside, up and away. Nowhere near where the catcher had set up. They were looking like they were wanting to pound it underneath the hands of Kai. Instead, the pitch was up and away, and it was going to be now 3 balls and 2 strikes. We thank everybody for checking out the channel tonight. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to us, and we'll keep you updated on all the Japanese calls and other things that go on in the NPB. Be looking forward for the opportunity to be able to get back over to Japan. And that hopefully will be coming soon. I know that there are certainly rumblings that there's talking about opening up the borders to leisure travel for people outside. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away. Caught Kakanuma off the shin guard and trickled away. Keeps the count at 3-2 to Kai. Kai is going to be getting his 8th pitch of the at-bat here, so he's entering the quality at-bat stage. Ojima ready to go back to work. He comes set at the belt. The runner at third is still Nakamura, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the battle is going to continue. That's the one thing you do get in the Japanese league is you sometimes get a lot of marathon at bats. Some of the players are just able to battle and battle and battle. The typical Asian player has very good hands. That's a trait that the Asian batters have is they get into 2 strikes and they're able to just flick the wrists and keep it alive and stay in battle until they can find something they can handle. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And there is a fastball that just misses inside, and Kai has earned himself a walk, and that's going to put runners on the corners. So Kai is now the runner at first, and Nakamura the runner at third, and that's going to bring the top of the order, Masaki Momori, to the plate. It's also going to bring Shogo Nakamura in to have a couple of encouraging words for his lefty. Momori tonight is 0 for 1. He grounded to short to lead off the ball game. And we'll get the scores updated across the bottom here for everybody as we go along, and we show it as a final. I don't think 0-0 is the final. We are here in the top of the 2nd inning. Zero Fox Sports says, stay alive and get on base. Absolutely. Walk a lot, score a lot, win a lot. That's what you can do. And there's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Momori. Akshay AK comes in and he says, how many runs will be scored? I assume you're asking for the ball game. If you would have asked me in the top of the 1st inning, I know Enzo had asked a question earlier. He said, hey, what do you think of these 2 pitchers tonight? I would have thought this would have been a low-scoring affair, but the way that Ojima is pitching as he comes up with a fastball and almost hits Momori, count goes now to 1-1. I anticipate that it looks like we're going to be going into the bullpen early, potentially. And if we go into the bullpen early, there could be some runs scored here. I'm not sure where Chiba's bullpen is going to play out. I don't know if that's would be considered the strength of their group, especially the long relievers if Ojima has to leave the game early. Now Ojima flips it over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner Kai. So if you're asking for my prediction of how many runs I think will be scored, I think this is going to end up being a high-scoring affair as opposed to last night, which was a 2-1 game in extra innings. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 2-1. So the question from Akshay, he asks, do you think 10 runs will be scored tonight? Actually, I do. Combined between these two teams, I think tonight we're going to see an over of 10 runs. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. Ojima holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count is now 3-1. And if the way Ojima continues to pitch, we might get the 10 runs right here in this inning. So stay tuned, everybody. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Mamori's going to be sitting on a certain pitch. So here we go. Ojima kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and that was quite the hack by Mamori. He swung so hard, he was running out of the left-handed batter's box right across home plate in the direction of third base. He was so off balance once he was done his swing. But that's going to make the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mamori digs in from the left side, lefty against the lefty. Ojima holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into the left side of the infield. It's Yudai Fujioka shielding himself from the light. And he's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it. But the damage has been done here in the top of the second inning. There were 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits. There was 1 error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're now through 1.5 innings. It's the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back for the call. The bottom of the second inning in just a couple moments. We'll be back after this. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Hold tight. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you being here, and it is going to be the heart of the Chiba batting order coming up. It's going to be Brandon Laird, Toshiya Sato, and Hiromi Oka. Anthony Woodfield in the house tonight. He says he's got the under at 7.5. What do we think? Lane Blundell's pounding his fist on the table too, and he says, me too. Personally speaking, after the last inning, I have a feeling we're going to get into the bullpens early than anticipated. And I just get a feeling, I think, that he is going to be, this game is going to go more than 7.5. So I would be taking the over. Before the game started, I thought the pitching matchup lended itself for an under, but the way Ojima has pitched tonight, he does not look sharp in his 2 innings of work. Wada, on the other hand, has come out slinging. He struck out the first 2 batters of the first inning. He was able to induce Nakamura into a weak pop fly to end the first inning. So now we're ready to resume this one. And Brandon Laird is leading it off. He'll be followed by Toshiya Sato and Hiromi Oka. Brandon Laird was a former first-round pick of the New York Yankees. Of course, his brother Gerald Laird had a lengthy big league career. Laird's nickname in Japan is Sushi Boy. And we can tell you the story about that one over a few at-bats or maybe over a couple of California rolls. Here comes the first pitch to Laird. It is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Last year, Laird hit 29 homers and drove in 95 runs. He hit 262. So here comes the 0-1 pitch to Laird. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's tap foul. It bounces off behind home plate. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Wada ready to go back to work. He gets the sign from his catcher, Kai. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 1-2. For Laird, he made his big league debut, and he played in the Houston Astros organization. That's where he got his big league playing time. There's a fastball from Wada that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2. But he didn't stick, and he bounced over to Japan pretty quickly. And he's had himself a nice career in Japan. He also spent time in the Hokkaido nippon-ham fighters team as well. And there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle. Moving to his backhand side is Momori. He fields it, he plants, he throws. And Laird is retired for the first out of the inning. That goes as a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Toshiya Sato. For Sato on the young season, he's batting .222. He's got no homers and 1 run batted in. Wada working from the windup. He rocks into the motion, and he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. As we said, Wada wastes no time between pitches. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped slowly over to the first base side. And then it is fielded in foul territory by the first baseman. And Nakamura makes the play easily, but it's a foul ball, and it's going to be strike 2 to Sato. Lane asked the question, are the rules in this game the same as MLB in the U.S., 9 innings? There's a fastball swung on and missed. And Sato is gone for out number 2 here in the bottom half of the second inning. So 2 up and 2 away. And that's going to bring up the center fielder, Hiromi Oka. Oka was the one who let that ball get underneath his glove in center field. That ended up causing that second run of Galvis to score. So Lane, the question that you asked is a good question. There's the first pitch from Wada. It's a fastball that misses down. They appeal over to first base, and they say Oka didn't go, and the count is 1-0. Last year, last 2 years, they were only playing 9 innings. Last year, they were only playing 9 innings in the NPB. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Moving back in front of the warning track is the left fielder, Kurihara. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it here. I'm going to get back to that in just a second, Lane, when we return after our break. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board here in the second inning. After 2 complete, it is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the top of the third inning in just a moment. We're glad you could be here with us. Here's our friend Matt again.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
That's right, everybody. After the game, be sure to check out another Hollis build. That's Matt Hollis. He's got all kinds of great stuff. And for a San Diego Padre fan, he's not half bad. And that is another Hollis build in his channel, a supporter of ours. And in turn, we like to support him. Back to Lane Blundell, who had a question. Lane asked the question, and he says, are the rules the same? So they do play as many as 12 innings. The games can end in a tie, but they've gone back to extra innings. They do start with runners on base in the extra innings, so similar to that of Major League Baseball. And so if we get to that point, then we'll describe how that all plays out. But certainly it is the plan this year is that they do play the extra innings, but if the game ends in a tie after 12 innings, it ends in a tie. So now that's going to bring the 2, 3, and 4 hitters up to bat for Fukuoka in their half of the third. It's going to be Naoki Sato, Yuki Yanagita, and Yurizabel Graciel. So 2, 3, and 4. Ojima has completed his warm-up tosses, and we're ready to get back to this one. So that's the question. I've yet to see. Obviously, there have been some extra inning games. Last night between these two teams, it did go 10 innings. So here comes the first pitch from Ojima, and it's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into center field. Oka moves in and to his left, and he's going to make the catch. And so just like that, one pitch and one away. And that is going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. So Anthony says 12 innings, so only if they're tied after 12 will the game end in a tie. That is correct. So last night the game went 10 innings, and of course the Hawks came out. I believe it was the Hawks won that one 2-1 last night. I just double check on that. Yeah, it was because Monello blew the save, and then Maury came in relief and ended up getting the win on that. Or got the save. There's a fastball that's down, and the count quickly is 0-1 to, or 1 ball and no strikes to Yanagita. So that is correct. So 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0. One thing about Ojima so far tonight, he has not looked sharp. He threw 46 pitches in the first 2 innings of work. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is scorched into right field. It's down. Fielding it as he moves to his left is Martin, and he's going to get it back into the infield. But Yuki Yanagita absolutely hit that one right on the screws. And Yanagita is aboard with a base hit. Nice job by Leonis Martin. He still runs not too bad. It was did a very good job to read the angle to his glove side. If he would have taken a different route to the ball, he might not have been able to cut it off, and Yanagita would have probably been standing on second or maybe even third. But a base hit single. So Yurizabel Graciel steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to right field his first time up. He sent a ball to the warning track, and there is a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt. Another good block by Kakanuma. Kakanuma, the catcher, he's been cat-like back there, as he's been able to do a lot of work. As we said, Ojima, to me, in my opinion, he doesn't really have the best command of his pitches right now. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. And there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Graciel. As we mentioned, Graciel is a Cuban-born player. And he has never spent time in the big leagues. But he did spend time in North America. He played indie ball in the American Association, and he also played in the Can-Am League. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Graciel, as the pitcher Ojima flipped it over to first, and diving back was Yanagita. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. And the count now goes to 1-2. But Graciel is a very dangerous hitter. He's been in the NPB for a few seasons, and he has earned the respect. The one thing that you do see in the NPB is you see a lot of Cuban-born players. One player not in the lineup tonight is another former MLB player, Edney Hechavarria. He plays for the Chiba Lotte Marines. But I would anticipate that he'll be in the game as a late-night replacement. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-2 to Graciel. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ojima leans in and gets the sign from his catcher, Kakanuma, and he's ready to go back to work. He checks the runner at first. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 3-2 to Graciel. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll keep our eye on Yanagita and see if they put him in motion to run, maybe stay out of the double play. So 3-2, here we go. Ojima kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. Off to second goes the runner. He throws on the brakes. The ball was in the dirt. Nakamura unable to pick it up cleanly. It bounces over to the shortstop, Fukuoka. But the base runner retreated back to first base as it was a strikeout, but they certainly didn't throw out the base runner, Yanagita, going to second. As we catch the highlight again, a throw down to second, it bounced. Nakamura, basically almost whiffed on it. It hit his glove, went toward the shortstop Fukuoka. But the base runner had slammed on the brakes and then went back to first base. So Yanagita probably would have been in there safely if he just would have kept on going. Well, that's going to bring up the left fielder and the hottest hitter in the Fukuoka lineup. This is Ryoya Kurihara. He got things going in the second inning with a base hit single and later scored a run. And there's a first pitch fastball delivered. This ball is lifted into shallow left field. Coming in on it is the left fielder Takabe. He makes the grab, and he's going to put it away for out number 3. So for the Hawks and their half of the inning, there was no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 2.5. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines nothing. Alexander Leggett, welcome back in the house. One of our listeners from last year. We appreciate you being here. And everybody else is in here tonight. We got a festive atmosphere, and the gamblers are out in full force checking out all the action. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple. Welcome back, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. It is 2-0 Fukuoka as we head to the bottom of the third. Here's a couple of tunes to keep you occupied and give my voice a rest. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the third inning, and it is the bottom third of the batting order coming up for the Chiba Lotte Marines. It's Yudai Fujioka, Taiga Hirasawa, and Tomoya Kakanuma. The first pitch delivered to Fujioka was a fastball down and away, and Wada, who works quickly, delivers another one in the same location, and it is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Fujioka batting 111 on the early season. He takes a fastball at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. He's got nothing across his slash line either. No balls, no homers, no stolen bases, no RBIs. He's got a bunch of zeros there. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. And there's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 3-1. As we said, Wada really works quickly. He does not put his defense to sleep. So here we go. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it's a fastball that misses down and away, and that is ball 4, and that is going to be the first base runner of the night allowed by Wada. And that will bring up the third baseman, Taiga Hirasawa. So Akshay is asking if there's anybody with predictions for the final score tonight. I don't have any predictions. I leave the gambling to the gamblers. We just report what we have here. Although it is fun to have the gamblers in the house, it's always a different crowd sometimes on some nights. Some nights we get the gambling crowd. Some nights we get the festive crowd. It's always great to have a crowd. So here we go. Here comes the first pitch to Hirasawa as Wada delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside. And the count is 1-0. Hirasawa on the young season is looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 6 on the season. He's got no homers and an RBI. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball that misses in, and the count is now 2-0. One thing that you notice about the Japanese umpires is that they sometimes And at least depending on who the umpire is, sometimes their zone can change almost batter to batter. Some of those pitches that Wada has thrown, and it's almost like you got to remember, hey, it's Wada on the mound here. He's been around the zone and he's nibbling corners and hitting spots. And now all of a sudden he's not getting the calls. And there is a fastball that's taken for a called strike. And the count is 2-1. Alexander Leggett says he works night in Chinese basketball and Japanese baseball, keep him company on these long, lonely nights. That's kind of funny. So Alexander says 3-0 on the score line. I think it's going to be a little more than that. So here's the 2-1 pitch, and there's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded to second. Moving to his left and under the outfield grass is the second baseman, Momori. His only play is going to be to first base, as Fujioka has advanced to second. It's going to go down as a ground out 4-3. So they're able to get the out, and that is going to bring up Tomoya Kakanuma. Kakanuma on the season is only hitting 143. He's got a homer and 4 RBIs, but his worth isn't at the plate. It is behind the dish, and he's had a very fine start to this game. Pablo Lopez says, greetings from Mexico. Appreciate you being here there, Pablo. So here comes the first pitch to Kakanuma, as it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Wada last season was 5-6. He had an ERA of 4.48, and Ojima had an ERA of 3.76 last year. So when you think of that, I'd be thinking more of the over than I would be the under. So here comes the one-strike pitch to Kakanuma. There's a fastball that's called a strike, and the count is 0-2. I really didn't like the way that the catcher Kai received the ball. Normally, Kai does a pretty good job of backhanding the ball. But that pitch there, he turned the glove over, and he was fortunate to get the pitch. So no balls and 2 strikes. Wada comes set at the belt. He checks the runner Fujioka at second base. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and this ball is hammered foul down the right field line. Just missed staying fair by a couple of inches. So no balls and 2 strikes. It remains to Kakanuma. We thank you guys for being here and supporting. Alexander Leggett says, I'd leave a tip if there's a tip jar. Well, one day we will be monetized on the station, and you'd be welcome to do it then, and we appreciate your thoughts at this point. No balls and 2 strikes, and there is a breaking ball that is lifted over the head of the second baseman, Momori. It's going to get down into right field. It is fielded by the right fielder, Yanagita, and he flips it back in. And that's going to advance Fujioka over to third. Really, Fujioka had to hang up because he didn't know if that ball was going to get caught. The second baseman went out, and as he went out, Momori, he took a leap, and he probably missed it by about a foot or a foot and a half. So he wasn't able to score on that one, as it was just a shallow ball hit into right field. So they've been able to turn the batting order with runners on the corners. And now that's going to bring up Akito Takabe to the plate. Alexander says, wait, there's a PayPal link there. Yeah, there is down at the bottom of the site. So we always appreciate that stuff. Anthony Whitfield says, how many outs? There's 1 out with runners on the corners. It's Fujioka, the runner at third, Kakanuma, the runner at first, and now it's the top of the order, Takabe to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. And here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball from Wada down. The count is 1-0. We got Zero Fox Sports in the house. We appreciate you there. Alex Leggett says most MLB guys got their job by being in the right place, right time thing. Absolutely. I don't like to always be critical. There's some really good announcers out there, and then there's some other guys that you wonder how they got their job. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep center field. Moving back on the warning track and making the grab is the center fielder over the shoulder catch by Sato. And that is going to get the runner in from third base as Fukuoka tags and scores. And that is now going to make the ball game 2-1. So that's going to go down as a sacrifice fly to 8, an RBI for Takabe. He hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark. Lots of high fives, a few bows, and some fist pumps. And that has cut the lead in half. A nice catch by Sato over the shoulder as he gets onto the warning track and makes the grab. Alexander Leggett's giving people a hint in here. So here we go. We've got no balls and no strike. And the first pitch delivered to Leonis Martin is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. I saw the other night that somebody ran a Hiroshima Carp Yokohama Dana Base Star game on their site. I actually jumped over and watched the last inning or so. The game was in the pouring rain. There was a breaking ball that misses outside, the count is 2-0. However, by the next morning, the game that they had showed is off the air or off of YouTube. Obviously, the Japanese league, they look for infringements. And certainly that would put us in a lot of hot water if we started to show any type of the video. So here comes the 2-0 pitch to Leonis Martin. Wada delivers. It's a fastball that misses off the outside corner. And the count is now 3-0. Martin tonight is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. I didn't see the whole thing, Alexander. I came in for the last inning or so, and I couldn't believe that they were playing in that driving rain. But I guess at that point you say, hey, let's get her done. Let's get it done. There's a fastball delivered to Martin. He takes it for a called strike, and the count is now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. The runner at first is Kakanuma. There's 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Wada holds at the belt. And he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on, and that's fouled away. And the count now goes to 3-2 to Martin. As we mentioned, we're going to be calling these same 2 teams again tomorrow night. So if you're around, be sure to check in with us. And then we will post our schedule up for the weekend. After that, more than likely, we will call a game Friday night, or the Friday Japanese game and the Saturday game. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a fastball that's swung on, and it is lifted foul over on the third base side. We're going to do the 3-2 pitch all over again to Martin. Yeah, that game with Yokohama and the Carp was played in a pouring rain. Absolutely, it was like a tsunami. And I couldn't believe they were still playing with that. For those of you who may or may not know, a lot of Japanese baseball, 90% of baseball played in Japan. And there's a breaking ball that misses inside. They peel down to first base or third base, and the third base umpire said Martin didn't go. And he's drawn himself a walk, and that's going to put runners at first and second. And it's going to bring the pitching coach out of the Fukuoka dugout. And he's coming out to have conversation with his pitcher, Wada. If you ever get a chance to see baseball in different parts of the world, I find it fascinating. But when I coached over in Germany, usually when you go to the mound, you expect the home plate umpire to come out and break up the conference. So the first time we were playing over there, I wanted to have a word not only with the pitcher and catcher, I wanted to have a word with the umpire when he came out to the mound. And they sent the base umpire out to break up the conference. So I'm looking around. I'm saying, I don't want to talk to this idiot. I want to talk to the guy behind the plate. It was absolutely classic. But that's what it's like when you go play in Europe. You've got guys that they do it a little bit differently, and that's the beauty of baseball. So that conference is over, and that brings up the captain, Shogo Nakamura. Nakamura now hitting .267 on the season. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's got no homers to go with 3 runs batted in. So here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Nakamura looking to get it going here for the Marines. It's a clutch situation as the bottom part of the batting order was what got it going here. There's runners at first and second, Kakanuma at second, Martin at first, and there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-0. One swing of the bat here, and that over of 7.5 starts to be inching closer and closer as we're only here in the 3rd inning. So Nakamura waggles the bat. Wada gets the sign from the catcher, and he goes back to work. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. The sun has now come out in Chiba. And a lot of cloud early on. It's mostly cloudy, but the sun does come out, and then it lights up the field with some different shadows. Anthony Belletti, if I've said that correctly, he says that 250 for a Marines comeback. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-2. Well, they've got the home cooking. Usually the sure-handed Takuya Kai behind the plate does a good job of framing the ball. Yeah, Anthony, we got 2 away here with runners on first and second. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Wada kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul over on the first base side. And the count remains at 2-2. Lane says that would be I think it would be a very scary swing of the bat, I think is probably what he meant. So here we go. Here comes the 2-2 pitch again to Nakamura. Wada kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field. Way back, moving back is the center fielder Sato, and he's going to make the catch in front of Kurihara, almost to the warning track. The hitter Nakamura sent that a long way, got the people excited, got me out of my seat. But that is just going to go down as a fly ball to center field, and that is going to end the inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines in their half of the 3rd, they got 1 run in the inning. There was 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 3 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher. If you've ever seen Steve before or been to his channel, he is highly entertaining. He's got all kinds of different things. He's got Takeover Tuesday. He's got the Saturday morning cartoons. He's got his shout-outs. Check out Steve. Let him know that we sent you.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day, and there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Appreciate you, Steve, and your support of our channel. And in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher. Remember, after the game, be sure to check him out and all the crazy things that he does on his channel. Even No Filter Fridays are something that he used to do, and you have to go back and take a look at that one. So Alexander Leggett says, Dutch baseball, the honk ball, is most like American baseball. And here we are back to the action. I'll talk over that in a second. Freddie Galvis is leading it off. It is Akira Nakamura and Kenta Imamiya, and Galvis takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Ojima goes back to work quickly and delivers a breaking ball, and it's fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. Galvis tonight is 1 for 1. He scored the second run of the ball game as it was booted by the center fielder for Chiba. So no balls and 2 strikes, and there's a breaking ball to Galvis that misses down and away, and the count is 1-2. The thing about the honk ball class, the Dutch league, is the close proximity. You could argue and say I think it's the best league in Europe. There is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-2. The Italian league is also very good. Those would be probably the 2 best European leagues, and then the German league would follow third. There's a fastball swung on it. It breaks the bat of Galvis. He's running down to first base with a sliver in his hand, and the shortstop Yudai Fujioka backs up and he makes the catch. That is going to retire Galvis for the first out of the inning. It almost looks like a samurai sword is all he had left in it, and that is out number 1 here in the 4th. We watch it again on the replay. The barrel of the bat almost went further than the ball. So Nakamura is the hitter. And here comes the first pitch to Nakamura from Ojima. It's a fastball. Take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So a funny story. A number of years ago, there was a former player, and I got to remember his name. It escapes me right now. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is golfed just over the head of the shortstop as Fujioka can't quite get there to make the catch. And Nakamura is aboard with a base hit single, his second hit of the ball game. And that is going to bring up the shortstop, Kenta Imamiya. It escapes me the player's name right now. I'm going to have to look it up, and I can give my viewers some hints. But he was a former Kansas City Royal and a former brief time with the White Sox. He was an American guy who was born in Canada, but played his major league career, obviously down in the States, grew up in California. And anyways, the guy had retired for a year or two, and then he decided that him and his wife were going to go over to Italy, and he signed a contract to play. And he had about 245 in the Italian league. And he said, one game you see a guy throwing 85 miles an hour. The next night you see a guy throwing 95 miles an hour. So you get a huge variation of pitchers. So the first pitch delivered to Imamiya is a fastball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. I have to go back and do a little bit of research on who that player was. And I do remember that he has a winery in Scottsdale, Arizona now. So that's the other clue. Ojima throws the ball over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner Nakamura. So Kenta Imamiya, who's at the plate here, he's known best for his sacrifice bunts. He popped out to the second baseman his last time up. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded hard over to third. It's fielded neatly by the third baseman, Hirasawa. He throws over to second for 1, back to first. It's a Chiba Lotte Marine double play that goes as a ground out. 5-4-3 to retire the side here in the 4th inning for Fukuoka. So for the Hawks in their half of the 4th, no runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're now through 3.5. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the fourth inning, and it's going to be the heart of the Chiba batting order coming to bat. That means it's going to be Brandon Laird, Toshiya Sato, and Hiromi Oka to face the left-hander Tsuyoshi Wada. Wada is beginning his fourth inning of work. He was cruising along in the ballgame as he retired the first 6 outs. And last inning, he allowed a couple of walks, a hit, and a deep sacrifice fly. That is how the Marines have cut the lead in half to 2-1. So Brandon Laird steps to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to the second baseman his first time up. Laird batting from the right side against the lefty Wada. He waits on the delivery, and it is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Wada does a good job of keeping hitters off balance. He mixes in his off speed with his fastball. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 1-1. He has the knack just to be able to mess up the timing of the hitters. I often say hitting is about rhythm and timing, and pitching is about disrupting the rhythm and timing of the hitter. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and there's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. The shadows are back in. The sun is hiding behind the clouds. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded through right past the pitcher into center field. It's past the glove of the shortstop Imamiya. And Brandon Laird has himself a leadoff single here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. That's going to bring up the first baseman Toshiya Sato. For Sato tonight, he is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. That is officially the second hit of the ball game now for the Marines. Kakanuma had one in the last inning. So Sato steps up to the plate, ready to face the lefty Wada. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Sato tonight is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Sato looks down and gets the sign from his third base coach, and now he's back in the box, ready to go back to work again. He does not look like he has any interest in dropping a bunt down. So here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is grounded. It's past the diving first baseman. It's into right field. Yanagita picks it up, and staying at second base, playing station-to-station baseball, is Brandon Laird. Laird, of course, doesn't run as well as he used to, and I'm not sure he ever used to run particularly great. But he has now been advanced to second base on the single by Sato. And that is going to bring up the center fielder, Hiromi Oka. It was kind of interesting. The ball was hit to the right side of the infield, and the base runner, Laird, had to sort of delay because the ball was struck, and he had to do a jump and kind of avoid the player. And so as Oka steps to the plate, he's already squaring to bunt. With that 1 for 12 start to the season, there's no reason why he wouldn't be. He is 0 for 1 today. He flew out to the left fielder his first time up. So Oka steps in. I often wonder sometimes if they are squaring to bunt in the on-deck circle. They don't even bother swinging. So here we go. He's waggling the bat. Wada looks at the runner at second, Laird. And here comes the pitch, and it is a fastball. They had something on. They were crashing the first baseman, but it looked like that they were going to take a shot at Laird at second base, or at least the catcher, Takuya Kai, was ready to throw down, and the shortstop, Imamiya, was sneaking in behind Laird. So 1 ball and no strikes to Oka. For those of you who may remember Taniguchi, he is the manager of the Marines. Of course, he spent time in the big leagues, probably most known with the White Sox. There's a fastball swung on. It's bunted down the third baseline. It's fielded by Galvis. He throws off a one leg, and that ball is up the line, and it hits the third base coach the first base coach who's in the first base coach's box. I don't think they would have got Oka. It was an absolutely fantastic bunt. Galvis bare hands it, throws off one leg. As I said, if the first base coach isn't there, that ball is probably into the right field corner. As we get the replay again. So now that's going to load the bases. We'll get the official ruling on that one, but I'm pretty sure that's going to go down as a hit. I don't think Galvis had a chance to get him. So the bases are loaded with Marines, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Yudai Fujioka. Fujioka tonight is officially 0 for 0 as he walked and scored a run his last time up. He's 1 for 9 on the season. So Wada in a jam here. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the third base side. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Fujioka batting from the left side against the left-hander Wada. This is a turning point here in the ballgame for sure. For all those gamblers who were saying it could be the under, we might be looking at an over right here in this inning. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. And there's a breaking ball that Fujioka takes for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. They did rule that officially a base hit for the center fielder Oka, so that goes down as a base knock. He would have, in my opinion, he would have beat that out regardless whether the throw was good or not. And there is a breaking ball that misses outside to Fujioka, and the count now runs to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Anthony wants to know how many out. There's nobody outs. The bases are loaded. And here comes the 1-2 pitch to Fujioka. Wada kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on and missed. And Fujioka goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. And that is going to bring up Taiga Hirasawa. For Hirasawa, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to second his first time up. He's looking for his first hit of the season. He entered tonight's game at 0 for 6. He's now officially 0 for 7. This is definitely a turning point. The bases are full of Marines. There's 1 away, and Hirasawa steps to the plate to face the lefty Wada. Left-hander against the left-hander. Wada kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Anthony Belletti says the first hit of the season, that doesn't sound good. Well, it's got to come sometime. Right now, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks are hoping now is not the time. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Wada holds it at the belt and kicks and delivers. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Going back onto the warning track and going to make the catch is Kurihara. Tagging at third is Brandon Laird. He's going to score easily. And the base runner at second base, Sato, tags up and he advances to third. So we now have a tie ball game on our hands. So that's going to go down as a sacrifice fly to 7. RBI credited to Hirasawa. The runner Laird scores, but I will say this, it was a very dangerous play. Sato had tagged at second, had advanced to third. There was a play at the base at third, but Laird was not running particularly hard to home. If that would have been a play that would have been where they threw out the runner at third, that run might have been taken off the board. Laird was definitely not hustling. So that puts runners on the corner. Sato is the runner at third. Oka's at first with 2 away, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Tomoya Kakanuma. Kakanuma is 1 for 1 tonight. He is 1 for 1 this evening. He entered the game batting 143 with a homer and 4 RBIs. So the catcher, Kai, is out in front of home plate, and he's giving the first and third signs to his defense to hopefully ensure that there's no shenanigans going on for the Marines. So Lotte getting ready to go back to work. His pitch count is slowly starting to ratchet up here. He's now at 64 pitches on the ball game. And here's the pitch from Lotte. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1. We had a little hiccup there, a little bit of a scare. We thought we were going to lose our feed. But we're all good. We've got no balls and 1 strike to Kakanuma. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Lotte checks the runner at first. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside. And the count goes to 1-1. Kakanuma, who's hitting in the 9 hole, will be followed by the top of the order, Akito Takabi, should he find a way on base. So we know right now the score has to get to at least 5, unless, of course, it ends in a tie after 12. So we are inching closer to that 7.5 over. There's a breaking ball. It's down. Off to second goes the runner, and the ball is thrown into center field. The runner at third scores. Here comes the throw to third, and it gets away from Freddie Galvis. So the base runner, Oka, steals second. He's going to go to third on the throwing error by the catcher. We're assuming it's the catcher, Kai, but really, there was nobody over at second base. Sato scores. That is now going to give the lead to the Marines 3-2. And an absolutely crazy play. It almost looked like the middle infield didn't know who was covering the base, and so nobody did. We watch it again on the replay. Up comes the catcher throwing. And it got by Imamiya and the second baseman into center field. So 3-2 is the score. So here comes the 2-1 pitch, and it's a fastball swung on by Kakanuma. He pops it up right at home plate. Moving underneath it is the catcher, Kai. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it. But the damage has been done here in the 4th inning for the Marines. For Chiba, they had 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors. We're not going to give that one an error quite yet, as he threw it into center field, but I don't know if I'd give it the error to the catcher. And there was 1 runner left aboard. We'll check on that error when you come back. We're through 4 complete. It is Chiba 3, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2. Alexander Leggett says that is nuts. Unbelievable. Crazy play. But it also looked like, as before I leave, it did look like the pitcher was going to cut the ball off. And he never did. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a moment. We appreciate you all being here. Here's one of our Did You Knows. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top half of the 5th inning. Anthony Woodfield says, how many innings are left? We're playing 9 here, Anthony. So we are in the top of the 5th. So there's 5 full or 4.5 complete innings to play, depending on if the home team has the lead or not after that 9.5 or the middle of the 9th inning. And we're ready to resume the action here, as it is going to be the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order coming up to face the starter for the Marines, Kazuya Ojima. Ojima is now getting a chance to pitch with the lead for the first time tonight, as the Marines scored 2 in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And that has got things picked up here, and the crowd is into the game a little bit more. The band is playing. So Takuya Kai steps up, and the first pitch to him is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Back to work, Ojima delivers a fastball, and it is popped up on the right side of the infield. Camping out underneath it is the first baseman, Sato. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Kai for 1 up and 1 away here in the 5th inning. It's going to bring up the top of the order, Masaki Momori. Momori tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to short, and he's popped to short. He's 2 times up. He bats from the left side. The thing about Momori is he stands right on top of the plate. His toes are right onto the white chalk of the batter's box, and he takes a first pitch fastball upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Momori's average has slipped to 294. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Ojima ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. Ojima ready to go back to work yet again. He delivers a fastball, and that carves the plate in half, and it goes to now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Momori. The sun is trying to poke its eyes out again from behind the clouds, and there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 3-2. Ojima was at 68 pitches through 4. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined back off the pitcher. It hits Ojima. He goes to pick it up with the glove hand. He flips it over to first. The runner is safe, but they've asked for time for the trainer to come out. That ball was a missile right back at the pitcher. It's one way to get Ojima out of the game. Hit a bullet back at the mound. We're going to take a look and see where it hit him. That ball came back. It actually looks like it hit him on the bicep of the pitching arm. So as he raced over, as it hit it, the ball went over toward first base. He picked it up and he flipped it. And Ojima is heading out towards the dugout with the trainer. Now, for those of you who watch Japanese baseball, this is the weird thing. The weird thing is sometimes the players will leave the field. They'll go down into the training area, and they're going to get examined and looked at. And right now, there's no relief pitcher. There's nothing that's coming into the game. But we're going to have to hold tight and wait and see what happens to the starter. But that's the second time tonight that the starter Ojima has been hit with a comebacker. That ball was an absolute bullet off the bat of Momori. We're going to get the highlight again here. Line drive. It was self-defense. As I said, he kind of cringed up a little bit, hit him in the bicep, and then he tried to, as he raced over toward first base where the ball went, tried to flip it with his glove to the first baseman. But it was not in time. It was a good play by him and good awareness by Ojima. Excellent hustle down the first baseline by Momori. So there's still the conference on the mound with the infielders and the catcher as they wait on the pitcher Momori. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to just take a little time out here. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. We got a break in the action with the pitcher who is down for the count. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Willie Breaks is in the house. Thanks for stopping in, Willie. He says, who do you think will win, honestly? Well, to be honest with you, if Ojima comes out of the game, that arrow or that needle might start pointing more toward Fukuoka. So the pitcher right now, we're waiting on an update to see if they're going to have to make a change because that comeback hit the pitcher in the pitching arm bicep, the left bicep. So he's in getting a look at from the trainer, and they're going to have to make a decision here if they're going to go to the bullpen or not. They're waiting on an update from the medical staff, and then we'll see if he is going to resume action. But I would say if the Marines have to go to the bullpen early, that may not be a good thing. And it may not favor that. So that might actually put the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, even though they're losing 3-2 right now, in a better position. So that is what is happening. So GTA Mods comes back and he says, who's batting? And right now it is Fukuoka batting. They've got a runner on first with one out. And the injury is to the pitcher, Ojima. And we're waiting to see if he is going to come back out. He is coming back out. They're going to give him a couple of tune-up tosses to see how he is. By the looks of it, he is going to remain in the ballgame. He's very fortunate on that line drive comebacker that he didn't take it in a more direct position on the arm. So he is going to stay in the ball game. He's worked 4 1/3 innings so far tonight. He seemed to settle down in the last couple innings. He was really shaky in the second inning where he gave up the 2 runs to the Hawks. But it looks like his command is back on, so he's throwing a couple of pitches. They're going to give him one more here. He's going to get a breaking ball. It looks like he's ready to go back to work. The coach is out there watching him throw. He says he's going to be all right. So they're still not convinced yet. He completes his warm-up tosses. The pitching coach has a final word or so with him, and he nods, and here we're ready to go back to the action. So the runner at first is Momori. He was aboard on the base hit single that almost took the arm of the pitcher off. There's one away as Takuya Kai had popped out to first. That is going to bring up the center fielder, Naoki Sato. So Sato tonight is officially 0 for 1. He also walked in the first inning, but he was erased in a double play. Actually, check that. He was picked off first base. That got him erased in the last one. So he is 0 for 6 on the season. He's looking for his first hit. And Ojima throws over to first, and diving back in time is the base runner, Momori. They got to keep an eye on Momori because he does have some wheels. And here we go back to the action. It's a fastball that misses outside. And the count now is 1-0 to Sato. Sato gets himself dug in. He's got a slightly open stance from the right side. And Ojima again throws over to first, and again diving back is the base runner, Momori. So 1 ball and no strikes to Sato. The clouds are hiding the sun again in Chiba, and here's the pitch. It's a fastball. It's a check swing, and Sato fouls it off over on the first base side, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. GTA Mod says this can't be good. The dude's 0 for 6. Well, something's got to give. The player for the Marines did some damage last inning, or at least he had a sacrifice fly that helped knock a run in. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2 to Sato. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Alexander Leggett was saying earlier in the chat that it's a bit of a delay on the stream. Once you get it synced up, if we get it synced up here, then For those of you who have the opportunity to watch, it's usually not bad. There's a first fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. As we said, in the United States, the zone is where the games have been played last year. I haven't got confirmation that they're showing them this year. NBC in Hawaii used to show games up until 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was NBC or maybe it was ABC. And they would get the live feeds from the Japanese games as well. Kind of cool. So 1-2 strikes. And again, flipping it over to first is the pitcher Ojima. TYN in the house. He's a big Fukuoka fan. We got a full house tonight. TYN, thanks for being here. And so there is a fastball that is check swing, and that is going to be a strikeout for Sato. We had to look at that one. He checked his swing, couldn't hold up, and he is retired for the second out of the inning. I know that for those of you, Yahoo was also showing games live at one point. So Yahoo, but it was Yahoo Japan. So possibly if you've got VPN or something like that, then there may be an opportunity to be able to watch it there. So there's 2-away with the runner on first, and that brings up Yuki Yanagita to the plate, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Andrew Nolan asks, how does Fukuoka look the last couple innings? Well, defensively, a little bit dicey. The kind of gifted the Marines a couple of runs there in that last inning. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. The sun is trying to peer through the clouds. So 1-1 strike to Yanagita. Left-hander against the left-hander. Ojima ready to go to work. Here's the 1-1 pitch, but instead Ojima flips it over to first, and diving back in time is the base runner Momori. We're going to do the 1-1 pitch all over again. Waiting on deck is the designated hitter, Yurizabel Graciel. Again, throwing over to first base is the pitcher Ojima, and diving back again in time is Momori. So 1-1 strike, 2 away here in the top half of the fifth inning. Ojima gets the sign from his catcher. He's ready to go to work. It's a fastball that misses up and into Yanagita, and the count is now 2-1. So Big Ray asked the question, did the Hawks win the Pacific League last year? No, they didn't. The Pacific League was won by the Oryx Buffaloes. The Central League was won by the Yakult Swallows. It was the first time that the two teams from the year before that finished last in their respective leagues finished first. There's a fastball swung on, and it is grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count goes to 2-2. And both of those teams ended up meeting in the Japan series, and the Tokyo Yakult Swallows ended up winning it against the Oryx Buffaloes. So 2-2 strikes to Yanagita. The crowd is festive in Chiba. Ojima gets the sign from his catcher, Kakinuma. He's ready to go back to work. And he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and in. And that's going to run the count full to Yanagita. So 3-2 strikes to Yanagita. Momori will be off to the races as soon as the pitcher delivers to the plate. TYN says, sadly, the Hawks didn't even have a chance to the postseason. Yeah, it was a bit of a run that has come to an end for the Hawks. It was at 5-time champions. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul over on the third base side. It's going to get into the seats about 25 rows up behind the dugout. And that's going to keep the count at 3-2. Ojima is at 85 pitches. Be curious to see how long Iguchi will stay with him. One would think he may be able to come out to get the 6th inning, but then they're going to have to turn it over to the pen. GTA Mod says, do you think Fukuoka can come back, or is this game as good as over? I think the game's an adventure when you get into the Chiba bullpen. So here's the 3-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is tapped over to second. Nakamura fields it on the hop. He flips it over to first, and that is going to retire Yanagita. It goes as a ground out. 4-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in their half of the 5th, no runs on 1 hit. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. Here's our friend Matt again. Be sure to check out his channel after the game. This is Matt Hollis and another Hollis build. Supporter of our channel, and hopefully you'll support him.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are cruising to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and it is going to be the Chiba Lotte Marines coming to bat, and that is going to be the top of the batting order. It's going to be Akito Takabe, Leonis Martin, and Shoga Nakamura to get things going. They're facing the starter, Tsuyoshi Wada, who is on for his 5th inning work. Takabe tonight is officially 0 for 1. He had a sac fly and drove a run in his last time up. Left-hander against the left-hander. Wada ready to go, and is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It's fielded by the second baseman, Momori, moving to his right. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Takabe on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Leonis Martin. For Leonis Martin, he is officially 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up, and he walked back in the 3rd inning. Martin is looking for his first hit of the year. He's off to a slow start. Be interesting to see how long they run with him. He's 0 for 11. But when he catches on fire, he can carry the team for a while. And so the first pitch is a fastball that misses low and away, and the count is 1-0. One of the greatest plays last year that I saw Leonis Martin, they were playing the Toku Rakuten Golden Eagles. There was a pop fly just behind shallow second base. There's a fastball swung on its tap foul over by the first base coach's box. And the count is 1-1. So Martin last year was the runner at 3rd, and it was a pop-up, swirling winds. The second baseman caught it just on the grass, just by the edge of the infield, and fell to the ground. Martin had tagged from 3rd and was able to score on basically an infield pop-up. Good piece of heads-up baseball by Martin last year in that particular game. That was one of my biggest memories of the season. It was a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Wada back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count is now 2-2 to Martin. Martin has definitely not found his groove yet. He was pretty fooled on that last breaking ball that he swung at and missed. So here comes the 2-2 to Martin. That's a fastball swung on. It is popped up in the infield. The catcher, Takuya Kai, races over up the first baseline and makes the grab. I thought that was a pretty difficult play. I know the first baseman was a little bit deep, but one would have had the thought that it would have been an easier play for Akira Nakamura, but Kai makes the catch. And that is going to be 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that's going to leave it up to Shogo Nakamura. The consonant who is in here tonight, I call him the consonant because he's got all kinds of different letters. He's saying 3-2 final. I guess we're going to find out. So here we go back to the action, and it is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Nakamura. Reminder, after the 5th inning, it is, I always like to say it's the Japanese version of halftime as they take a break for water break. There's a fastball swung on by Nakamura, and this ball is grounded through the 6th hole into left field for a base hit as Nakamura is aboard for the first time tonight. So he gets himself a single, and that's going to leave it up to Brandon Laird. So GTA Mod says, how many innings? This would be a 9-inning game. We're not playing softball or in a Major League doubleheader. They play 9 or more in the event of the game is tied. So Brandon Laird steps to the dish. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and scored a run his last time up, and he grounded to second. He is 3 for 13 on the season. He's only hitting .231. So he is just about to get heated up. Laird, when his bat gets going, he can carry the team just like Leonis Martin can. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's pop foul on the first base side of home plate. It's going to reach the seats, and the count is quickly 0-1. Anthony Woodfield says, is it realistic that 7.5 is where we're at right now? It still is, but I wouldn't be putting, at the outset of this game, as I said before, I was calling, I've started to call the over as the pitchers' pitch counts have started to rise, because I don't think the starters are going to be in here till the finish. And if you get into the long relievers for both of these teams, or guys who are coming in the 6th or 7th inning, there could be some runs put up on the board. So there is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. But I think the way that this game has been played defensively, there's been some shoddy plays. I think this game is going to exceed that 7.5. So flipping over to first base is Wada, and getting back in time is the base runner Laird. Check that, the base runner Nakamura. The batter is Laird. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to him. There's 2 away with Nakamura, the runner at first. Wada gets the side from his catcher. He checks the runner. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 1-2. Yeah, Alexander Leggett's giving that to you in the real time. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. On that last pitch, the runner Nakamura was off and running. Curious to see if they're going to do that again. Nakamura has now advanced over to second base. It looks like that there might have been we didn't get the ruling on that. There might have been a balk on that play. And there's a fastball swung on. It does all for naught now. That ball is grounded to Freddie Galvis at third. He throws across the diamond. And Brandon Laird is retired on a ground out 5-3 for out number 3. And that will do it here in the bottom of the 5th for Chiba. There was no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 5 complete innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2. They got the cheerleaders on the field. They're coming out to clean the field. And what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little break, and then we're going to come back and look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the major leagues before we begin the last half of this ball game. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to just take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in Major League Baseball. This is the only Japanese game going on right now, by the way. The other games are all later starts. It'll be either at 6 o'clock or 6:30 Japan time. So looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, Justin Verlander goes to 2-0 on the exhibition season as the Astros beat the Nationals 3-1. Rainey took the loss and James got the save. Verlander has now gone 8 1/3 shutout innings. Of course, he had Tommy John surgery and missed all of last season. So his recovery is coming well. Keller gets the win, Pivetta the loss as the Pirates beat the Red Sox 6-2. The Tampa Bay Rays knock off the Twins 4-2. Verizon gets the win. I think that's a JP Verizon or Verizon. I can't remember how you say his name. McGill takes the loss. Adam the save. The Yankees knocked off the Phillies 14-2 behind the pitching of Schmidt. Clark Schmidt gets the win, and Nola takes the loss. The Chicago Cubs knocked off the Diamondbacks 3-2. Steele the win, Davies the loss, and Ukert got the save. The San Francisco Giants knocked off the Padres 11-6. Rodon got his first win of the spring. Clevenger took the loss. The Cincinnati Reds knocked off the Rangers 7-1. San Martin got the win. Moore took the loss for Texas. Moore pitched last year for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, or was it 2 years ago? Matt Moore. The Guardians beat the Brewers 10-3. Brian Shaw got the win. Brandon Woodruff takes the loss, his second of the spring. His ERA is now fluffed up to 13.5. Other four finals are the Angels knocked off the Rockies 8-2. Suarez the win, sends Zatella the loss. Kansas City Royals beat the Mariners 11-4. Lynch got the win. Gilbert took the loss. The Mets shut out the Marlins 10-0 behind Bassett. Lopez takes the loss there. And finally, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Athletics 6-4. Anderson the win, Holmes the loss, and Hudson the save. Well, we're almost ready to go back to the action in Japan. And we appreciate everybody that's being here. It's Alexander Leggett says the cheerleaders in baseball feels weird. Other countries seem less concerned with it. Only 8 of the 12 teams in Japan have cheerleaders. It's kind of interesting to note that. There are 4 teams that don't. Now, if you ask me which are the 4 teams that don't, I can't give you that answer. But I know that only 8 of the 12 do. As I mentioned before, when I was in Europe, the Mines Athletics used to have cheerleaders. When I coached in Edmonton, the Edmonton team we had cheerleaders. And they were cheerleaders, but not necessarily, how could I say it in a polite way? They might look better on TV than they did up close. So we'll just leave it at that. So not that they weren't good at what they do. That was the piece that I was thinking about. You could see it. Maybe it was missed on that play when a couple innings ago when the runs were scored by the Chiba Lotte Marines. It looked like they may have a playoff where they wanted the pitcher to cut the ball off going down to second base. That didn't end up happening. So Enzo MMA back in the house. He says, what's the count? Anyone on base? Nothing yet. The game is ready to resume right about now as we're starting the top of the 6th inning. Alexander Leggett can answer that question for you, Connor. So here we go. Back to the live action. Ojima ready to deliver. There's a fastball to Graciel that is a check swing. It's fouled away. And the count is 0-1. So Nash asks the question and he says, what's good, brother? Game slowing down? Well, at the end of the 5th inning, when you're over in Asia, they always take a water break. And they go off and the umpires get drinks and whatever else. And there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-1 to Graciel. So they always have about a 3 or 4 minute break in between the 5th and the 6th inning. So there is a fastball delivered from Ojima. That pitch misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And there is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. Check that. Count evens to 2-2. There's a fastball to Graciel, and that misses outside, and the count to 3-2. I'm trying to watch a little bit there as Connor Donaldson is asking about links of where he can watch. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Can deliver. It is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. It's fielded neatly by Fukuoka. He throws to first. Graciel is retired for the first out of the 6th inning. It goes as a ground out. 6-3 for out number 1, and that's going to bring up the left fielder Ryoya Kurihara. So Kurihara tonight is 1 for 2. He singled and scored a run his first time up, and he's flown out to left. He's off to a scorching start this season. He's now 6 for 16, batting .375. They go with a couple of homers and 4 RBIs. And he takes a first pitch breaking ball for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Nash said he watched some KBO and NPB from time to time and never noticed that 5th inning break. There is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ojima delivers a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kurihara. So we're ready to go back to the live action. There's a breaking ball. This is swung on. It's grounded over to second. It's fielded by the second baseman, Nakamura. He flips it to first. And that is going to be a ground out, 4-3 for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up Freddie Galvis. So Nash asks the question, how'd you get into Japanese baseball? Well, I've had a chance to get over to Japan a little bit. First time for pleasure, most of it for pleasure, a little bit for work. And obviously had an opportunity to kind of see what they're doing over there and got a chance to see some of the facilities and some stuff that exists in the Tokyo area. And here comes the first pitch to Freddie Galvis. It's a breaking ball missing down, and the count is 1-0. The thing about Japanese baseball is the game is they have very good fundamentals. Something that's really missing out of the North American game or Latin game right now. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Let's face it, the North American players, the Latin players, very strong. Play for the 3-run homer. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is hammered. It's going to get past the diving first baseman into right center field. And Freddie Galvis has his second hit of the night as he is aboard with a 2-out single. And that is going to bring up the first baseman, Akira Nakamura. Cash says, Freddie Galvis, Blue Jays legend. Connor says he couldn't find it, so I'm here now. We're glad to have you, Connor. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we do call the games. We'll be back here again tomorrow night with these same 2 teams. So hopefully you can pop it in. So that brings up Akira Nakamura. He is 2 for 2 tonight. He's got 2 singles and an RBI. And here comes the pitch from Ojima. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Alexander Leggett suggests to Connor that he should look it up on Reddit. You'll find the links if you look hard enough. Yep, there is a section for them. I haven't been over there in a while on the Reddit stream, but they do a pretty good job. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs to Nakamura, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Nash asks, which team are you a fan of? I don't have anybody particular that I like. I like some of the players more than anything else. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 2-1. So probably the 2 guys that have my attention, if I had to say that, I like the 3-4 hitters in the Yakult Swallows lineup. And there is a ball flipped over to first base, and getting back easily is Freddie Galvis. I like the stadium that Hanshin plays in, the Koshin Stadium. That's a pretty cool venue. All dirt infield. You don't see that in the major leagues. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count goes to 3-1 on Nakamura. Connor says the Carp have Puig, right? Actually, the Carp don't have Puig. Puig is in the KBO. Nash says, I want to watch Masahiro Tanaka's next start and see how he's doing. He actually got the start last night, and he pitched fairly well. He got the win in his first start of the season. There was a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now runs 3-2 to Nakamura. So Freddie Galvis will be off to the races on this pitch to Nakamura. They got to make sure that Ojima goes to the plate. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. And Nakamura is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to retire the Hawks in their half of the 6th. They had no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 5.5. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the bottom of the 6th inning. We're glad you're with us. This game is now starting to skip along a little bit here. I didn't think we'd be here at this point. Hang tight. We'll be right back after this. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher again. Check him out after the game.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything. So we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Appreciate you again there, Steve. We appreciate your support of the channel, and in turn, we like to support you. We do have a pitching change on our hand for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. It is a right-hander coming into the game, and when it is Fuji. We saw him go the other night, and he is appearing for the 2nd time that we've watched him. So we're going to see how he performs tonight. I'll get you the specs on him in a minute. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, he's not on my roster. I've got an older roster I'm working off of. But Fuji, he was with the Hiroshima Carp, and he'd missed a couple of years, and I was trying to find out what his deal was, if he was out of ball for a reason. But he came in when we watched him when Fukuoka played, or when we called the last Fukuoka game, and he did pretty well. So he's here to face Sato, Oka, and Fujioka. Here we go back to the live action, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside the Sato, and the count is 1-0. So Fuji is taken over, and the night is done. The bottom of the 6th inning here now for Wada. So here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. So as we mentioned with Fuji, he was with the Hiroshima Toyo Carp in 2017, 18, and 19. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Sato. This is the 3rd appearance of the year for Fuji. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow center field. Coming in hard is the center fielder, and that is going to be caught by Sato as he calls off the shortstop Imamiya right at the last moment. And so that is going to be 1 up and 1 away, and that is going to bring up the center fielder Oka. So Sato hits a fly ball to Sato. You don't hear that every day. So just back to Fuji for a minute, the pitcher. This is his 3rd game that he's appeared in. He's got 1 victory on the year already. He's pitched in 2 1/3 innings, allowing 2 hits. And he has struck out 4, and that is where he stands right now. He's only allowed 1 earned run. So the first pitch delivered to Hiromi Oka is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Fuji ready to go back to work. There is a breaking ball that misses upstairs. And the count is 1-1. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a split finger pitch that is waved on and missed, and the count is 1-2. I'd be curious to see if Ojima is going to be coming back in. His pitch count is starting to ratchet up a bit. I wonder where they're going to turn it back over to. So here comes the pitch to Oka. It's a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Oka. Fuji gets the sign from his catcher, and he's ready to go back to work. Fuji kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count runs to 3-2. So Oka is looking to get on base for the second time tonight, as he had singled his last time up. Oka can be a threat on the base paths, so they want to try to retire him here if they can. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's fouled away over on the first base side, and the count remains at 3-2. Pablo Lopez says, is it me or is this game boring? Well, there's been some what I call staggered excitement. That ball, the shoddy defensive play by Fukuoka, and of course the pitcher getting hit by the line drive. There's a fastball delivered to Oka. It is swung on. It hit to deep left center field. Moving back onto the warning track is the left fielder Kurihara, who makes the grab. That is going to retire Oka for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. That you're going to I'm in Pacific on the West Coast, so doing a game at 10 o'clock as opposed to at 2:30 in the morning Pacific time is a lot more fun to do. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. So we'll do these same 2 teams again tomorrow night. Generally speaking, though, it is a good question. I like to look for the pitching matchups. I like to see if we got a good pitching matchup. I like to see if there's maybe a clash of the top teams. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-1. So those are the things that I like to decide. So pitching matchups, 1. If it's not a pitching matchup, are the 2 teams maybe in first place, like a interleague game? There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2 now to Fujioka. So there's 2 away here in the 6th inning, and Yudai Fujioka is trying to keep the band playing for the Marines in the bottom of the 6th. There's the 1-2, and it's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count's 2-2. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. And it is a fastball swung on, and this is lifted foul down the third baseline. And the count remains at 2-2. So Nash says a lot of earlier games. Certainly, any time that we can do the earlier stuff, I will do. Depending on my schedule, I can do some of the games late night. But last night I was looking at doing and staying up to do the game with Masahiro Tanaka, but just couldn't do it. Couldn't keep the eyes awake. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 3-2. Pablo Lopez asked the question, who's your favorite pitcher overall? It's a good question. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 3-2. So currently right now, maybe in the Japanese league, it's hard not to like Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Oryx Buffaloes. He's got a power arm. He brings it up to the plate. He's a mid-upper 90s kind of guy. He strikes out a lot of hitters. It's exciting to watch him pitch. So here comes the 3-2 pitch to Fujioka, and it's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to keep the count at 3-2. So back to the question again by Pablo Lopez. That's probably in the Japanese league who I like the most. I also like Levon Moinello, the left-handed reliever for the Hawks, the Cuban-born pitcher. He's entertaining. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Fukuoka, and it's going to retire the side for the Marines in their half of the sixth. I'll come back and answer some more of those questions in the chat. We appreciate you guys being here. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 6 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks trailing the Chiba Lotte Marines 3-2. Stick around, everybody. I'll be right back and answer a couple of your questions in just a minute. We'll be back in just a half a minute here with after this. We appreciate you again for being here. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan, but we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We got some questions in the chat, and I'm still trying to keep up with you guys. And it's great to have you in here tonight. We do appreciate it. It makes my night a whole lot more fun. We do have a pitching change for the Chiba Lotte Marines as the night for Kazuya Ojima is done. We'll get you the specs here in just a moment. They have a right-hander coming in the game, so both teams going to the bullpen have gone to the right-hander, and it's going to be Taiki Tojo making his appearance into the fray here. So one of the questions that was asked earlier on came from our friend Nash. He says, what are your thoughts on Seiya Suzuki signing, and how do I think he's going to do in the big leagues? Well, for those of you who were in the channel last year, I said I thought that Suzuki, from what I saw, in my opinion, that he is not Ichiro. There's only one Ichiro. But I would say Hideki Matsui would be the next best player. I think he slots in behind Hideki Matsui. And so if you're a Cubs fan, you got to like that. I think him playing in Wrigley Field, I'd be curious to see if he's going to hit 25 to 30 bombs in that park. So if he can hit 25 to 30 home runs and drive in 90 to 100 runs, that's going to be a great signing for the Cubs. So that answers your question. Connor says, can you do a full run through on score and count? The score is trickling always across the bottom of the screen. We update it on the half innings, and then we can give you the counts as we move along. But I don't know if that really answers your question. And then lastly, Pablo Lopez says, who's my favorite team in the MLB? It's a no-brainer. I grew up 20 minutes from old Tiger Stadium outside of Detroit. So that is my team. I am a Tiger fan through and through. So the first pitch from Tojo is a fastball delivered for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Kenta Imamiya. Antonio Graham pops in, and as he does, he asks the always popular question. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. I don't put the links in our page. I know Alexander Leggett had given some hints earlier on how you can pick up the feed for this. And there's a fastball taken for a called third strike. And that is going to retire Imamiya for the first out of the inning. The problem is I don't want to get us shut down. I think that's the biggest one. So anytime the links go into the chat, so if you scroll up in the chat, Alexander had given some information of where you can find links toward and maybe direct you toward the game. And that should be able to help you out. So that brings up Takuya Kai. Kai is 0 for 1 tonight. He also has a walk, and he takes a first pitch breaking ball outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. On the season, Kai is batting 111. He's got 1 hit in 9 trips to the plate. So here comes the 1-0 pitch from Tojo. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So Anthony has mentioned it there as well of what to do. There's the 1-1 pitch, and there's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. So once you find it, Antonio, usually what people do is it's the Japanese feed. Some people will come in and listen to our call and sync it up. There's a fastball that swung on. This ball is lifted foul down the right field line. And the count now goes to 2-2 on Kai. Nash says he likes to catch the former MLB players playing in the Japanese and Korean leagues. Yeah, I think it's always pretty cool. You get to see guys, especially when they bounce back. There's a fastball that misses down away at Kai, and the count is now 3-2. So it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kai. There's 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. So here comes the 3-2 from Tojo. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that's taken for a called 3rd strike. And that is the second Hawks hitter to go down looking here in the 7th inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the top of the order, Masaki Momori. So Tyler Leggett says Austin Tyler is his favorite. Or should I say Tyler Austin? Probably got that reversed there. Tyler Austin is doing pretty well with the stick. So Momori steps up. He is 1 for 3 tonight. And the first pitch he takes from the right-hander Tojo is a breaking ball that misses down. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. There's a fastball delivered from Tojo, and it misses inside. And the count is 1-1. Connor Donaldson asked the question, how do I feel about the Javi Baez signing? And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the right field side. The count is 1-2. I'm mixed on it. I like Javi Baez, certain aspects of his game. I really like the way that he runs the bases. He has a little bit of flash. He's a smart base runner. I don't know if I like him at shortstop. I do think he's a better second baseman. There's a fastball that is on the outside corner. It is a check swing, but they say he didn't go, and that's going to even the count at 2-2 to Momori. So that's where we're at there. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 3-2. So back to the question about Javi Baez. So I like Baez if he was playing at second, but I think he's definitely an upgrade from anything the Tigers had at short. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball, and that misses upstairs to Momori, and he's going to draw himself a 2-out walk. And that will bring up the center fielder, Naoki Sato. Sato is 0 for 2 tonight. He walked his first time up and then got picked off by the pitcher Ojima, and then he flew to center and has struck out. So scheduled to bat is Sato, but it looks like it's going to be Seiji Ubiashi that's coming in to bat. So Seiji Ubiashi coming in to hit for Sato. His night is done. And we're just going to hold tight here for a second as we're going to see if we got a pitching change coming up if Tojo's night is done. And Gucci has come out of the dugout, and that looks like what's going to happen. Tojo, we have seen enough of him. So Seiji Ubiashi, and we got changes all over the place. So I'll answer some of the stuff in the chat here with the runner at first and 2 away. Tojo, you are finished. We'll wait to see who the Marines are driving in on their Mercedes-Benz pitching change. So Pablo Lopez asked, did I play baseball in any pro level? And the answer to that is no. I had a chance to play 3 years of college summer baseball, but I played football for 2 years at the college level. But having an opportunity to coach overseas, have an opportunity to coach 8 years at the collegiate level, it's been a lot of fun, or was a lot of fun. So that answers some of that stuff. Nash asked the question, who are some comeback stories of the MLB who went to the NPB and went back to the MLB successfully? It's a great question. I go back to Cecil Fielder as being one of the first ones in my mind, where he went over to the Japanese League and played with the Hanshin Tigers and absolutely destroyed. And then he came back and played for the Detroit Tigers. Now, when he came back to the Detroit Tigers, of course, he hit, I think it was 51 homers in his first year back in Detroit. So let me quickly give you the pitching change, and I can continue to talk over that. We've got a pitching change. It's going to be Shota Suzuki coming into the ball game now for Chiba. He is a right-hander coming on in relief of Taiki Tojo. This is the third pitcher of the game used by Chiba. So Shota Suzuki is coming into the game. He would probably be one. There's another pitcher also that had success at the big league level, went across, and then came back, and that would have been Bill Gullickson. So Bill Gullickson was that as well. So that answers. Bill Gullickson was also came back to the Tigers. He was with the Yomiuri Giants. And then we had, who was the other one? We had another one that was off the top of my head, I think, a Miles Mikolas, currently in the big leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals, who I don't really remember who he was with in the MLB, and he went over to the NPB, and then he came back and had some good starts. And then there's a current one now to keep your eye on with the Cardinals, Drew Verhagen, who pitched with the Hokkaido Nippon-ham Fighters last year. So those are some guys just off the top of my head. I'm just moving back up the list to the questions, trying to get through everybody in the order. So those were the first ones. Connor Donaldson says he agrees that as a Cubs fan, you got to love him, but it's frustrating. Sometimes he's a tad too flashy, and sometimes he gets into slumps. Alexander Leggett says, what division did I play? And I played my football in Canada. We played in the CIS. So here we go back to the live action. Now, I got a chance to play baseball in the Detroit Adre League, which used to be a college summer league. And at the time, the college summer leagues, this is before this big explosion. There's all kinds across the country where the college summer leagues would have a lot of their players all playing on the one team. So University of Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Wayne State, University of Detroit, they all had teams. There's a breaking ball down in the dirt. It skips away from the catcher. Nice job by Kakanuma to block it and keep it in front of him. And that is going to be one ball to the pinch hitter Ubiashi. So hopefully that gives you some of those things. Where did I coach? Division I, II, mid-major. Actually, we was involved out here with the University of British Columbia program. And that's an NAI program, the only program in Canada that played down in the States, although the University of Winnipeg did jump in for a bit. So that kind of gives you an answer there. And my tour there, we were always top 25 ranked. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-0. Get the occasional games in against the University of Washington, Washington State, University of Seattle. So Division I schools. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. And Suzuki delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle. This is going to get into center field. And Ubiashi has got himself a base hit. That advances Momori over to second. And now that's going to bring up the right fielder, Yuki Yanagita. So Suzuki unable to get the job done. The left-hander versus left-hander matchup, and it's a ground ball into center field. I'll try to get back to you guys on some of the questions, but we want to keep updated on this game here. But Enzo does ask the question, is the Chiba closer any good? That's Masuda. And Masuda really struggled last year, but when he got going, he was pretty good. So yeah, Masuda, if they can get to the ninth inning, he'd be the one to keep an eye on. So here we go. Here comes a lefty-lefty matchup. We got Suzuki against Yanagita. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. There's nothing more that drives coaches crazy or left-handers who can't get left-handers out. So Ubiashi facing the lefty gets a base hit, and now you've got Yanagita, back-to-back lefties. Suzuki has to do his job here. So 1 ball and no strikes to Yanagita. Suzuki checks the runner Mamori at second base. He delivers. It's a breaking ball down. They go over to third base to check the sign. The third base umpire said he didn't go. And the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. Scott G bounces in and asks the question that's been asked throughout the night. How do you watch? I tried to find a stream everywhere. Well, if you scroll up, the fellas in the stream will give you the idea. Look for Alexander Leggett or even Anthony Woodfield. They'll give you that information. Just look for their spot in the chat. So here comes the 2-0 pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes 3-0 to Yanagita. So 3 balls and no strikes. The runner at second is Mamori. The runner at first is Ubiashi. There's 2 out here in the top of the 7th inning. But the Hawks are threatening. So here comes the 3-0 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the bases are now loaded full of Hawks. And that is going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Yurizabel Graciel. So Graciel strides to the plate, and the manager, Iguchi, is just shaking his head, hiding behind that mask. Absolutely. Antonio Graham says, how many out? There is 2 away here. Yeah, the other guy struck out 2 and walked 1, and then they brought in Shota Suzuki. He's brought in his gasoline can, soaked the mound. It's on fire now. And so Yurizabel Graciel steps to the plate. He is 5 for 18 on the season. He's 0 for 3 tonight. There's 2 away, and the bases are juiced. So here we go. Here comes the pitch from Suzuki. It's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Graciel. So Gucci Rari says, don't tell me the bases are loaded. Oh, they're loaded all right. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Suzuki holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and this ball is driven foul into the seats over on the right field line, and the count is now 0-2. So bases are loaded, no balls, and 2 strikes on the hitter. Graciel now has to be a little bit defensive as Suzuki gets his sign from his catcher, Kakanuma. He's ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball down, and that's the Suzuki we saw who came into the ball game. The count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Connor Donaldson says, high fastball, swing and miss. Well, this would probably be where you want to do it. That last pitch was down in the dirt, so it would have changed the eye level of the hitter. You're probably right. Let's go upstairs and see what happens, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're going back down again, and there is another fastball that misses down, and the count now runs even to 2-2 to Graciel. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lots of excitement in this one tonight now as the game is starting to get into the deep water. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes to the hitter Graciel. The bases are loaded. Mamori's the runner at third. Ubiashi's at second. Yanagita's at first. There's 2 away, and Suzuki steps off the mound, and they're going to do this all over again. The catcher, Kakanuma, pats his chest to indicate that it's his fault. They're going to have to cycle through these marathon of signs again. So here we go back to the action. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. So get the merry-go-round ready, guys. Here we go. As soon as Suzuki delivers to the plate, the base runners are going to be off to the races. Graciel, a single here should score 2. A double here would clear the bases. And of course, one that flies into the stands would be the grand slam. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Graciel digs in, and Suzuki delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and it is a bases-loaded walk. So since Suzuki has come into the game, he's given up a hit, and he's walked 2 batters, and we now have ourselves a tie ball game. And remember what I said earlier on, the entertainment is when the Chiba bullpen comes into the game. That's what exactly has happened. We now have a tie ball game on our hands, and that's going to bring up the left fielder and the hottest hitter in the Fukuoka lineup, Ryoya Kurihara. Kurihara tonight is 1 for 3. He entered the ball game batting .357. He's got a couple of homers and 4 RBIs. Nash says this is looking like the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. Connor Donaldson hit the nail on the head. Why didn't they go upstairs? So here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away to Kurihara, and the count is 1-0. Kurihara's average is at .353 now. He's 6 for 17 on the season. This is not the guy you want to face in this situation. So here we go. 1 ball and no strikes to Kurihara. Suzuki kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count is 1-1. That was a good pitch. For all the stuff I was saying a couple minutes ago about how he missed down and he was missing down, that was a really good strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Suzuki holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that misses just down, and the count is 2-1. One thing that we don't always see here is we can't get the action in the bullpens. Of course, usually the manager will come out and the pitching coach will make his way to the mound, and then we have to wait to see what we're getting. But one would think that the Marines bullpen is on high alert. 2 balls and 1 strike. So here comes the 2-1. There is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-2. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to stick around and stay up for the later ones tonight. I've got to get some sleep. I was thinking about maybe doing a double at some point, but I don't think my voice would handle it up. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kurihara. We do call some major league games once the season gets going. We don't do a full slate, but we like to practice up on those 2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and we're back to where we were a batter ago. It is now full count to Kurihara. The runner at third is Ubiashi. The runner at second is Yangita. The runner at first is Graciel. The bases are loaded. There is 2 out, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kurihara. We're all knotted up at 3s. The pitcher, Suzuki, bends down, gets the rosin bag, and now he's ready to go back to work. Kurihara digs in at the plate, and here we go. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and that is ball 4. Kurihara has drawn a walk. For those of you who are on the under at 7.5, you guys are hanging on by the skin of your teeth, but I said earlier it was going to be over. I just have a feeling that's going to be the case. And Iguchi is making his way out. He's seen enough. He's getting Suzuki off the mound as that is going to walk a run in here. So that's going to move Yanagita to third, Graciel to second, Kurihara with the RBI walk. It's going to bring up Freddie Galvis, and Suzuki is running off the mound, probably right to the bus to head back down to the farm and do some work. So hang tight, everybody. We're going to be back in just a moment or 2 here with the call of the bottom of the 7th. We have a pitching change. Bases are still loaded with 2 away. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change. It is going to be the fourth pitcher used by the Chiba Lotte Marines. It is going to be Fumiya Ono coming into the game. And I don't know how Ono has done this year yet. I will check on those numbers in a minute. But I can say this. I saw him pitch quite a bit last year. And whenever we saw him, he was more than effective. And so we're going to see how Ono is kind of going to do in this situation. He's coming in with the bases juiced with 2 away here in the top half of the 7th inning. The Hawks have now taken a 4-3 lead over the Marines. Ono last year posted a earned run average of 348. And so he is going to be working here in relief of the pitcher Shota Suzuki. Antonio Graham says just added over 9.5 line. Yeah, that 7.5 at the beginning of the game is looking like it was long, long ago. So the right-hander is in getting his warm-up tosses in. Once again, we do appreciate everybody for being here tonight. We thank you for checking us out if you're new here to the channel. We do call the NPB games, and we'll be back on again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Pacific time. So hopefully you can make it here with us again, and we'll do this all over again between the same 2 teams. Although I say that, but there is rain in the area tomorrow, so we have to be cautious. If the game is a rain out or delay, we will still stay with it as long as we possibly can until they officially cancel it. So we're hoping they can squeeze that one in. So the switch hitter Galvis is going to turn around and hit from the left side tonight for the first time. He is, on the evening, he is 2 for 3. He's got a couple of singles. He's scored a run. He's now 4 for 17 on the season. And so Ono is ready to go to work. He gets the sign from his catcher, Kakanuma. It's a fastball that's taken for a called strike at the knees. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. So Ono is coming in and he's dealing. So no balls and 1 strike. Ono ready to go back to work. He delivers. There's that elevated fastball that our friend Connor was wanting earlier on, and the count is 1-1. The only problem is it's the wrong hitter and the wrong pitcher doing it. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Galvis. Galvis has a home run this season, and he got himself off to a decent start. It's a way to endear yourself to the Japanese fans, especially after us signing that 2-year, $6 million deal. And there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away on the third base side of home plate, and the count is 1-2. Big Gray asked the question, do a lot of the young men in your clinics watch the replays of your NPB call? Yeah, we get some occasional kids pop in here. They don't say too much once in a while. I get the odd one that comes and sneaks in and then will tell us in practice that he was listening to the game. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. This time of the night, the likelihood is probably not so much. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Galvis. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-2. Nice play by Kakanuma there as the ball looked destined for the backstop. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Galvis has the slightly open stance. He holds his hands up at his shoulders. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded to second. Fielded by Nakamura. He flips it to first. And that is going to put out the fire. A nice job by Ono. He gets Galvis to ground out 4-3 for out number 3 here in the 7th. But there was a lot of damage done in the inning. The Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks scored 2 runs. They did it on only 1 hit. There were no errors, and there were 3 left the board. We're now going to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is Fukuoka 4, Chiba 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We're glad you could be here with us. Hold tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving on to the bottom half of the seventh inning. We'll be back in just a moment after these tunes to give you all the calls and all the changes that are about to happen. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters scheduled in the Chiba batting order. It's going to be Taiga Hirasawa, Tomoya Kakanuma, and Akito Takabe coming up to bat here. And they've got a new pitcher in the ball game for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and that is going to be number 11. This is Yuki Samori. Yuki Samori is making his second appearance in the season. He's appeared in 1 inning. He has 1 inning pitched, and he has not allowed a run. So he will be the third pitcher used by the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks tonight. Curious to see if Tyler Chatwood is going to get the start here maybe tomorrow night. So I'm interested in that. That's a former big leaguer. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball delivered for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I don't believe he's had a start yet. For Hirasawa, he is 0 for 7 on the young season. He's 0 for 1 tonight, but he has driven in a run. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now quickly 0-2. That last pitch from Samori was brought up to the plate at 93 miles an hour. It had a little bit of jump and had some arm side run to it. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-2. So Anthony Balletti asks, how is the Hawks bullpen? The Hawks bullpen's pretty good. You get into this time, the next inning could be Moinello and then Mori, or depending on how they work it. Because basically both of those guys act as closers. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. And Hirasawa has been extinguished for the first out of the 7th inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and it's going to be Tomoya Kakanuma coming to the plate. Just catching up a little bit on my notes here. As I said, I wonder where Tyler Chatwood is at. So I'm curious to see if he's going to get a start. I haven't looked to see where he is at with the lineup, but it'd be interesting to see how he does. So it looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch hitter here for the Chiba Lotte Marines. It is going to be number 40 coming into the ball game to replace Kakanuma. Number 40 is Koki Fukuda. So Koki Fukuda coming in, and that is the end of the night for Kakanuma. And the first pitch delivered to Fukuda is a fastball that misses in for ball 1. So 1-0 to Fukuda. Fukuda bats from the left side, right-hander against the left-hander. Kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is now 1-1. And we have a couple of folks that are now listening in on Twitch. We do the streams both on YouTube and Twitch, and we welcome the Twitch listeners. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into center field. And Fukuda welcomes the pitcher into the ball game, and it is a base hit, and that is going to be a single for Fukuda. That's going to bring up the top of the order, Akito Takabe. So Takabe tonight is officially 0 for 2. He hit a sac fly in the third inning to knock a run in, but he's in between. Around that, he is struck out and grounded out. He squares the bunt, and this time he pops it up, and it's foul over on the third base side. And the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Yeah, absolutely. This is the opportunity where you want to play some small ball. Even here, even with 1 out, to have the chance, you've got Leonis Martin, and then you got Shogo Nakamura coming up. They could walk Martin to set up a potential double play, but you want to face the 3-hole hitter. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Samori delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away by Takabe. The count now is 0-2. Alexander Leggett says it seems like Fukuoka had some cute fans. And possibly that is the case, yeah. They always like to show the young gals that are holding up the signs. Fukuoka's got a pretty healthy lead at first. He's got 1 foot on the turf. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away by Takabe, and the count remains at 0-2. I always get a kick out of the signage. For those of you, I think it's every time somebody with the Hiroshima Carp has a milestone, they always print a t-shirt. It's kind of funny. Everybody has a t-shirt for the Carp. So 1 ball and no balls and 2 strikes here to Takabe. He checks the sign. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-2 now to Takabe. Alexander Leggett says all the Carp care about is selling t-shirts. Yeah, well, remember, Carp is only 2 letters inverted away from being something else. Yeah, they're definitely a team that is in flux. I do like their pitcher. One of the questions came up earlier. I think it was Nash asked the question, said about Yamamoto. The other one that I like is Masato Morishita, the right-hander, the young right-hander, I believe is in his 3rd season now with the Carp. I like to watch him pitch. There's a fastball swung on, and this is fouled away. The count remains at 1-2. The lineup, the question asked earlier was who do you like to watch in the NPB? I really like that Tetsudo Yamada, the second baseman. And then I think it's Murakami's the third baseman for the Swallows. Hope I didn't butcher his last name. Those are the 2 players over there I like to watch. They hit back-to-back in the order 3-4. There is a breaking ball that misses down and in. They appeal down to the third base umpire to see if he went. The third base umpire is not buying it. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the crowd is clapping in rhythm. Takabe with the runner at first, Fukuoka. Takabe ready to go on the 2-2 pitch as he digs in. Samori holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. This is turning into quite the battle. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat now for the Chiba leadoff hitter. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 away here in the seventh inning in the bottom half. Connor says, win the battle. We're going to find out right now. There's a breaking ball that misses off the outside corner. That pitch sure looked like it was strike 3, but the umpire isn't buying it. I'd like to see the replay on that one. Takabe gets second life. Alexander Leggett is setting the mood. So here we go. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Instead, it's thrown over to first base. Yeah, Connor Donaldson says base hit ball 4. Yep, the Marines Need to get another runner on here. This is going to be the 16th pitch from Samori. He kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. They had the runner in motion that time, as Fukuoka was on his way on his horse, probably trying to stay out of the double play, but that is going to keep the count at 3-2, and that's going to make this the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Absolute battle. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Takabe. Samori holds at the belt, and now Takabe asks for time, and he steps out. So a little bit of gamesmanship going on between the hitter and the pitcher. We're going to do this all over again. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Takabe. The runner at first is Fukuoka. There's 1 away. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Samori holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on it again. Fouled away over on the third base side. That's going to be pitch number 11. So either way, this has been a fantastic at-bat by Takabe. Really able to work it. When I coached over in Europe, I had a leadoff hitter that played for us. His name was Christian Teusch. And this is exactly what Teusch could do. He could foul pitches away, foul pitches off, battle, and then finally nickel and dime himself for a walk. And there is the 3-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses outside. Takabe has won the battle. He is going to be aboard with a base on balls. That's going to advance Fukuoka to second. That's going to bring the pitching coach out of the Fukuoka dugout, because Leonis Martin is on his way to the plate. That's probably the fastest the pitching coach has darted out to the mound in a while. He was on a full speed sprint out of the dugout. So nice piece of hitting by Takabe to battle his way into a base on balls. Yeah, Connor Donaldson says that's a QAB if I've ever seen it or heard one. Absolutely. Kenneth Austin says all the walks. Yeah, it's definitely maybe not so much for Chiba offensively. Fukuoka so far has really done fairly well. Fukuoka pitching, that's the 3rd walk of the game they allowed. But Chiba has walked the yard tonight. That is what's got them into some serious situations. So I'm just looking here at the scoreboard, but we'll go back to the live action as Leonis Martin steps in. It's the first pitch to Martin as a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. For the Chiba Lotte Marines tonight, they have walked 6 Fukuoka batters. Only 3 Marines have drawn walks, but it is a dangerous situation now with Leonis Martin at the plate. Runners at first and second. Here comes the 1-0 delivery from Samori. Checks the runner. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is popped up on the third base side. Racing over is Takuya Kai, but it's going to get into the seats. For those of you who can't see, Takuya Kai might need some oxygen. That is a long run to get to the backstop. It is absolutely huge. In fact, I would even say that on a pass ball, there could be a good chance that a runner could score all the way from second. It is that far, to put it in perspective. It kind of reminds me of the Oakland Coliseum, how its cavernous spaces are in foul territory. So here we go here. If you put it on that 9.5, maybe Leonis Martin will turn one around here. So here comes the 1-1 pitch to Leonis Martin. Samori kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt, and a nice block by the catcher Kai. And the count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. Antonio Graham asked the question, are there any outs? Yes, the leadoff hitter struck out. Runner on second is Fukuoka. The runner on first is Takabe. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Leonys Martin. He's still looking for his first hit of the season. Here's the 2-1. It's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is now 3-0. Nothing worse than bringing in relief pitchers who can't throw strikes. And that is what we're witnessing now. He's 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Martin's going to be sitting on something special here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Martin digs in. Samori holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is fouled away over on the third base side of home plate, and that's going to make the count 3-2. Martin was just off on that pitch. As we get the replay of it, it almost looked like it was a changeup grip. But hard to tell the difference between his fastball and his changeup. There wasn't so much difference. Usually you look for about a 10-mile-an-hour difference. Antonio Graham says, yeah, relievers who can't relieve. It's like cows who can't give milk. They're useless. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Samori kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's swung through by Leonys Martin. He is down on strikes for the second out of the inning. So that is going to leave it up to Shogo Nakamura. So Martin still hasn't figured it out yet. He's now 0 for, what's he at now? 0 for 12 on the year. Whew. So Nakamura strides to the plate with 2 out. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He singled his last time up. He's popped to second and flown out to center. So here we go back to the live action. And Samori kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Nakamura. Again, there's 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Marines are threatening with 2 aboard. Nakamura, the captain at the plate, looking to do some damage here. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count runs to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. We appreciate everybody who has popped in here tonight. For the call of this one, we'll be back on the air as a reminder again tomorrow night. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Samori delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul just behind home plate. And the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nakamura. Samori struck out the first batter of the inning. He allowed a hit, a walk. He got Martin on a strikeout, and now he's got Nakamura at 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is going to be the 28th pitch of the inning. Samori checks the runner at second. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded to short. It's fielded by Imamiya. He throws across the diamond. Nakamura is going to be retired on a ground out, 6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines in their half of the 7th, there were no runs, there was 1 hit, there were no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are through 7 complete. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 8th inning in just a moment. Here is our friend Matt again.
We got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
There's going to be a pitching change coming up for the Chiba Lotte Marines. We'll bring that to you when we come back in just a moment. Stick around, everybody. And don't forget, visit Matt Hollis's channel after the game. We'll be back in just a couple. We appreciate y'all being here. Here is some tunes for you. Welcome back, everybody. The pitching change for the Marines, we will get to you in just a moment here. It is a fella that's not on our roster, so I'm going to have to do a double check to see who it is. It is number 50 for the Marines, and it looks like it is Onuma, but we will confirm that with you in a moment. He is coming off of the bench for the Chiba Lotte Marines. This is going to be the fifth pitcher used of the night by the Marines. There are some changes, it looks like, defensively, but we'll have to get those for you as they come around. So this is Onuma entering the ball game. This is going to be Kenta Onuma. And the reason why we don't know much about him is this is his NPB debut. So welcome to the NPB, Kenta Onuma. The first pitch is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is quickly 1 ball and no strikes. So Kenta Onuma into the ball game. So what a way to make your debut here in the top of the 8th inning. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-1. So it is Akira Nakamura, Kenta Imamiya, and Takuya Kai coming up to bat here for the Hawks in their half of the 8th inning, top half of the 8th. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-1. This young player was taken in the second spot in the 2020 training player draft. He is 24 years old. He'll be 25 in June. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. Onuma kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This is grounded past the diving third baseman, Hirasawa, and it is going to be a base hit here to lead off the inning for Nakamura. That is the leadoff single here. And so now as Nakamura gets the high fives after collecting his third hit of the game, he is going to be pinch run for. We'll get you the stat on that in a second. So you got to think with the Pacific League all-time sacrifice bunt leader coming to the plate in Kenta Imamiya, we can predict the obvious. You got to think that Imamiya is bunting in this situation. The pinch runner is Isami Nomura. So Nomura into pinch run here. I'd be curious to see if he stays in the game. But Nomura into pinch run. And guess what? Imamiya is already squaring the bunt. So here we go. And they flip the ball over to first base. And diving back in time is the base runner Nomura. I'll get to GTA Mod's question in a moment here. He says, do you practice saying the names a lot? From time to time, there's some guys that I struggle with. But it used to be something back in the day when I worked in industry where I would come in, and the number one important thing for me was to learn the person's name and to remember who they were. There's a fastball that misses upstairs to Imamiya. That makes the count 1-0. And so I used to practice saying the guys' names, whoever it was, and we had a lot of different cultures, learning how to enunciate it because that's important. certainly when you get an opportunity, and sometimes we do make mistakes. I'm not going to say that I don't here. And I think that, obviously getting a chance possibly to interview the players or to talk to them, sometimes you ask them how they say their name. There was a player who used to play with the Detroit Tigers. He ended up with a few teams, with the White Sox. He was with the Brewers last year. And I always used to say Avisail Garcia. And when we met him in person, we asked him, how do you say your name? And there is a pitch that is bunted down the first baseline. It's a good one. Mamiya gets the job done. It's going to go down as a sacrifice bunt. 3-4. That's going to advance Nakamura over to second. And that's going to bring up the catcher, Takuya Kai. So we asked Garcia how he says his name, and he said his name was Avisail. So Avisail Garcia. So that's how he pronounces it, which I thought was very interesting. So with one away, that brings up Kai. Kai today is officially 0 for 2. He has walked, he's popped the first, and he has struck out looking. He is 1 for 10 to start the campaign. So Kai batting from the right side against the right-hander Onuma. And the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Onuma got his first out there. So Nakamura is the runner at second, but he got pinch run for by Nomura. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. And Kai bunts, and it's a decent one, but it ends up going foul. It was the right idea. And that's going to make the count 0-2. So we got Smokey Brandon in the house. Welcome, Smokey. Across the bottom of the screen, you're going to note that it is the score and the teams. The visiting team is on the left, Fukuoka. The home team is on the right. And so you're going to see top of the 8th inning, and that would indicate that the visiting team is up to bat, which would be Fukuoka. So there you have it. So no balls and 2 strikes to Takuya Kai. Pitcher Onuma is ready to go back to work. He holds at the chest. He checks the runner at second. He checks Nomura again. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul on the third base side. The count remains at 0-2. That last pitch was a fastball of the split finger variety. The first time I recognized that out of the hands of Onuma. So there is one out with the runner at second. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Takuya Kai. Numa holds at the chest. He checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. Not a good at bat by Kai. They are unable to advance the runner over to third, as Kai grounds out 6-3 for out number 2, and that's going to leave it up to the top of the order, Masaki Memori. So Masaki Memori steps to the plate with 2 away and a runner on second. Memori tonight is officially 1 for 3. He's also walked and scored a run. Onuma reaches down to the rosin bag, and he's ready to go back to work. So Mori gets himself dug in. Infield is back, except for the third baseman, who's playing even with the bag. So here comes the first pitch to Memori. And it is a fastball that is just off the outside corner, and the count is 1-0. That pitch looked pretty good. I'll talk about a good spot. That was a really good spot. Maybe it was a good place to miss. So 1 ball and no strikes. Pitcher Onuma holds the ball at the chest. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. That's pretty gutsy for the young right-hander with 1 ball and no strikes to throw a breaking ball in that situation to the hitter Momori, but he was able to throw it for a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Seiji Ubiashi waits his turn on deck. So here comes the 1-1. Onuma kicks and delivers. It's a fastball. It's taken for a called strike. And now the count goes to 1-2. The changes in the lineup. Koki Fukuda, just for your knowledge, came in to hit for Kakanuma. He stays in the game at first base, and the first baseman Sato has now gone behind the plate. So those were the defensive changes for Chiba. So here we go back to the live action as Onuma comes set at the chest. Here's the 1-2, and there's a fastball swung on it. It's tapped slowly down the third base line, and the third baseman does the wise thing. Hirasawa stands back. He would not have had to play at first base, and he lets it roll foul. And he picks it up in foul territory, and it's just going to keep the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good decision by the third baseman. Had absolutely no chance. It was like a swinging bunt as it trickled down the third baseline. So here we go. Here comes the 1 ball and 2 strike pitch. The runner at second is the pinch runner, Nomura. There's 2 away here in the top half of the 8th inning. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. And he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on, and this is going to be lifted foul. It's going to get into the seats right around the 213 section. That's going to keep the count at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Momori is going to go head back and get himself some more spray for the bat. A little bit more pine tar for him. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. This game has a little bit different pace. I will say this now with the reliever Onuma on the mound. He really takes his time. He does not work quickly. He's not like Ojima or Wada, who are working very quick to begin the ball game. He has got a whole other pace. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. Moving back on it is the right fielder, Leonis Martin. He's going to haul it in, and that is going to do it here in the 8th inning for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. So for the Hawks, in their half of the 8th inning, there was no runs. There was 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 7.5 innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines trailing the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4-3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher. Be sure to check out his channel after the game. He is one and crazy guy.
Hey guys, and thank you, Freddie. Steve coming back at you. That's right, Steve Rademacher. I would like to thank each and every one of you that is tuned into my channel. And today, let's do a little shout out for some other great channels you should be watching. There is WVogs 18. There's Big D's Sports and Collectibles. You all know another Hollis build. Why not Like Father, Like Son? That's a great duo that does some great stuff. It shows some great cards. And of course, the one and only Bud Stoney, creators of One of Ones. The creator of One of Ones, and they're all signed on the back. Bud Stoney, One of One, like this beautiful Robin Yount that he made for me. He made me another Robin Yount, this time mini, and a Christian Yelich mini. Great cards, and he does more than cards. We have darts of Hulk Hogan and many other things. So give them a look-see and give me another look-see. Subscribers are always welcome, and back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom of the eighth inning. It is going to be the reliever, Levon Moinello, coming into the game now for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Last night, he blew a save opportunity, so he's getting another chance to come in for some redemption. He is going to be the fourth pitcher used by the Hawks. And so for those of our gamblers that are in here looking to get some action, it is now going to be tough for the Marines to start scoring runs against these guys here. So he is a tough arm, and one would think that maybe Mori might even come in to pitch the ninth inning. So it is more in favor for Fukuoka than it is for anything else. So Moinello is taking over, and he is going to be facing the heart of the Chiba batting order. That's going to be Brandon Laird, Toshiya Sato, and Hiromi Oka. So the 4, 5, and 6 hitters are coming to bat. And so for those of you who don't know much about Moinello, he's a Cuban left-hander who's got a power arm. So excellent job there, Big Ray, to let everybody know where we're watching it. Look for Reddit. There's a breaking ball from Moinello that is missing down and into Laird, and the count is 1-0. So Laird tonight at the plate is 1 for 3. He singled and scored a run in the fourth, and around that, he grounded to second and grounded to third. So Moinello ready to go back to work. He delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-0. Interesting that he's attacking Laird with breaking balls. His bread and butter is his fastball from the left side. So Gucci Rari says, are you telling me my under at 7.5 is alive? I think so. I think with the chance for that to happen is going to be the Hawks to score in the top of the ninth. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Usually Moinello and Mori are pretty automatic in the 8th and 9th inning. Last night, of course, that didn't happen as Moinello blew the save. They had to win in extras. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Laird, and there's a fastball swung on and missed, and now the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Laird. Alexander Leggett says, or 77.78%. Absolutely. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Laird is retired on strikes for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that's going to bring up Toshiya Sato. For Sato tonight, he is 1 for 3. He struck out his first time up. He singled and scored a run back in the 4th, and he flew out to center field to begin the 6th inning. So he strides to the plate. He has now gone behind the plate as there were some defensive changes in the last inning. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Big Ray says, although you wouldn't want to listen here to us. Oh, yeah, we appreciate you there, Big Ray. So here comes the pitch from Moinello. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. So Toshiya Sato is hitting. The pitcher is Levon Moinello. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Moinello kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike on the inside corner. And the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sato gets himself dug in. He's batting from the left side against the lefty Moinello. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. That was nasty. That is the second strikeout of the inning for Moinello, but that pitch was absolutely filthy. Sato went at it, and he was not able to do it. He had him completely fooled. He was way out in front. He absolutely waved at the pitch, and down goes Sato for out number 2 here in the 8th inning. Nice piece of pitching by Levon Moinello. So now with 2 away, that leads up to Hiromi Oka. The first pitch from Moinello is a breaking ball It misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. Anthony Woodfield says, so this guy's a good pitcher. Yeah, he, in my opinion, when I've seen him, he is pretty solid. When you think of players that are playing in the NPB but could go to the MLB, this Cuban left-hander could be one of them. He's not a big guy. There is a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is now 2-0. Check that. Count's 2-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Oka. Yeah, I think that this is one of the players that when you look at guys that if you say, hey, who could come to the big leagues? This guy here is one of them. Somebody could use a left-handed arm that sits on 96 all day long, and he can run it up to 98, 99 miles an hour as well. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to the hitter Oka. Moinello ready to go back to work. There's a fastball that's up in the zone, and the count now goes to 3-1. Our friend Connor Donaldson earlier on was looking for that elevated fastball while Moinello sure brought it up there. But now that makes the count 3-1 to Oka. They're getting into the deep water. It's going to be the bottom of third of the batting order after Oka here. And there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 3-2. Kenneth Austin, we appreciate you being here. And thanks for stopping in. We'll be back again on the air tomorrow night. So hopefully we can see you again for these same 2 teams at the same time. So here we go. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that is swung out of the zone. Oka goes down on strikes, and Moinello comes in and slams the door in the 8th. He strikes out the side as the Marines go down 1-2-3. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're going to the top of the 9th inning. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a couple moments. Have a great night, Ken.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the top of the 9th inning, and it is the same pitcher on the mound who came in last inning, Kenta Onuma, who's made his NPB debut tonight, and the first pitch delivered to Seiji Ubiyashi is this Ubiyashi at the plate, or is this Yanagita? Sorry, Yuki Yanagita is a breaking ball for a ball 1. And there is another fastball delivered, and it's taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1 to Yanagita. So Yanagita tonight is officially 1 for 3. He's also drawn a walk. And Connor Donaldson says he's got to be up in 4 hours, but he's sticking around now for all the great action in the end. So we'll see what happens. Alexander Leggett says hopefully they'll see something on social media from Moinello. Usually Instagram does a pretty good job if you're following the teams on Instagram, their official stuff. There's a fastball that swung on and lifted into the stands down the left field line. The count goes to 1-2 on Yanagita. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch from Onuma, and it's a fastball swung on. This ball is popped up in the infield. Coming over underneath it is the third baseman, and that is Taiga Hirasawa, and he's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Yanagita. So 1 up and 1 away here in the top of the 9th inning, and that's going to bring up Yorizabel Graciel. Big Ray says, Matt is a big Padres fan. If you didn't get the meaning of that song, Tatis is due back in June. Yeah, definitely crying if you're a Padres fan. So here comes the first pitch, or here comes the pitch delivered here. What is going on with my scoring? You know what? I have to apologize. That was Ubiashi, who was retired. This is Yuki Yanagita. I made a mistake in my scoring. So Yuki Yanagita is stepping up to the plate. And the ball is 1-1 count on him. So it's Seiji Ubiashi, Yanagita, and Graciel. So the pop-out was Ubiashi to begin the inning. So here's the 1-1 to Ubiashi, or to Yanagita. It's getting late. It's a ground ball over to first. Getting over to cover is the pitcher, Onuma. And that's going to go down as a ground out, 3-1 for the second out of the inning. So let's get this straight. Seiji Ubiashi popped out to the third baseman to get things going. Yuki Yanagita grounded to the first baseman, who flipped it to the pitcher covering for out number 2. That is now going to bring us up Yorizabel Graciel. I'm trying to do the game without caffeine tonight. Otherwise, I'd be awake for another game here in a little bit. But we do have the tea going on here, so of the iced tea variety. So here's Graciel, and the first pitch to him is a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. You got to tip your hat to this young pitcher, Onuma. After some of those other guys came in, and especially Shota Suzuki came in and was absolutely tragic tonight. He's come in and shown that maybe this is a guy you can trust late in the game, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Connor says he's going to need some caffeine to wake up for class. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. There is a fastball that's up and in. Graciel tried to hold his swing, but he wasn't able to do it. That is going to retire him on strikes for the third out of the inning. So a fantastic NPB debut by Kenta Onuma for the Hawks and their half of the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're going to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 3. Stick around, everybody. And Connor, what school are you going to? Let us know if you got to get up for class in the morning. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. We are waiting for the pitching change to be announced, but one would have to think it is going to be Maury coming into the ball game, and we are going to see here in a second, and that is exactly what we are going to see tonight. So they are giving the best of the Hawks. So if you're going to win this game, if you are Chiba, you're going to have to go through their best. You saw Levon Manello in the 8th, and now in the 9th, it is Ito Mori in the ball game. Speaking of practicing names, I do struggle with his first name, Ito Mori, into the ball game. He is the closer for the Hawks. Connor goes to Ball State University. It's 4:35 a.m. Yeah, absolutely on the East Coast over there. I knew a gal who used to go to Ball State University maybe about 10 years ago. She played field hockey there. So we're ready to rock and roll. So who's coming up to face Mori in the bottom of the ninth inning? Well, scheduled to come to bat is Yudai Fujioka, Taiga Hirasawa, and Koki Fukuda. So they're going to have to try to find their way on. This is the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the batting order. And they're going to have their work cut out for them against one of the better closers in the NPB. Ball State University, if I'm not mistaken, is in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? And if it is, that's where Big Ray is at. He's in the Indiana area. Looks like we do have a pinch hitter on deck, though. The first pitch from Mori is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to Fujioka. After this game is finished, and actually we do have a pinch hitter for the Chiba Lotte Marines for this as well. So Fujioka is not hitting. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. This is Kyoto Fujiwara. I didn't get that change. Kyoto Fujiwara is into the ball game, and he's right away in the hole, 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Fujiwara. Here's the pitch from Mori, and it's a fastball, and he waves at it, and that is going to retire Fujiwara for the first out of the inning. He goes down via strikes. And that is going to bring up Taiga Hirasawa. So Alex YT says he's from New Jersey. And Connor also says about an hour east of Indianapolis. I've been to Indianapolis a couple of times. So that's going to bring up a pinch hitter here. This is Yamaguchi. We'll get you his specs in a moment, as he's going to be entrusted to face Mori. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses down. This is Koki Yamaguchi. He is 1 for 4 on the season with a homer and 3 RBIs. They could use another homer in this situation. Here's the pitch to Yamaguchi. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. So the count is 1-1. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and missed. Mori came inside. It almost looked like Yamaguchi was guessing in that situation. That was a great fastball. It was in on the knees with some arm side run, and Yamaguchi swung right through it. So it's 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mori ready to deliver. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Yamaguchi is down on strikes. That is 5 Marines hitters retired in a row by strikes. Wainello struck out the side in the 8th, and Mori has struck out the first 2 batters he's faced here in the 9th. And scheduled to come to bat is Koki Fukuda. We're going to see if that indeed here is going to be coming to bat to face Mori. So here we go. We've got Fukuda in at the plate, and the first pitch to him is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Now, this is how you put a team away. Levon Wainello comes in, strikes out the side. They bring in Yuta Mori in to pitch, and he strikes out the first 2 hitters and gets a strike on the 3rd hitter he faces. This is how you close off a ball game. So here comes the 0-1 pitch, and that pitch is a split finger pitch. It's swung on. It is lifted into shallow left center field, coming hard and sliding, and he can't make the play as the center fielder, Ubiashi. The ball hits the deck, and it is going to be Fukuda standing in at second base. Holding his knee is, it looks like is that Ubiashi who is down? No, Ubiashi collided with the left fielder, Kurihara, and this is not good. He is rolling around, writhing on the field in pain. Certainly their best hitter so far to start the campaign, and he is absolutely writhing in pain. They collided as they were running for the ball. He is holding his left knee. That is not a good look. So we're going to take a look at this on the replay. The left fielder was coming in hard. The center fielder was racing in. It was the center fielder's ball. He tried to catch it. Well, the left fielder, that's clearly on him. He's the one who ended up getting hurt, but that is on him. They brought the stretcher out. They brought the stretcher out. I don't know if they've got the magic spray. I guess they leave that for the soccer field. And he is going to be scooped up and put onto the stretcher. And they're going to be taking him off the field. Every time I see a pro athlete on the stretcher, I always think of Mike Modano, the hockey player for the Dallas Stars, when they went to put him in the ambulance and then they dropped him head first. He slid off the gurney. Well, hopefully they can get this player off of the field. Connor Donaldson said the stretcher came out super fast. Yeah, he was writhing around in pain. I don't know why you need the stretcher, for crying out loud. Just get a couple big guys to help carry him off. The Fukuoka fans are pretty silent because of this. He's a quality young player, this Kurihara. As we said at the earlier part of the stream, he came in as a catcher. So definitely it'll be that they are taking him off. I didn't know that it took about 8 people to carry him off in a stretcher. We'll see who the substitute is. But this does not look good for him. They have the manager coming out, and they are going to be making the change in left field. But with all that happening, and I'm going to see how they officially score that, if that is an error. I think it's a base hit because that was a very, very difficult play. So there's a runner at second, and there's 2 away now. We'll look at the official scoring on that one. Looks like it's a single with a advancement to second after the ball got away from the center fielder. It's going to bring the top of the order up. It's going to be Akito Takabe. And we'll be able to pick up the changes in just a moment. They've got number 36 has entered into the fray for Fukuoka. He's getting an opportunity to throw a little bit here. And number 36 is who? This is Taisi Makihara. So Taisi Makihara into the ball game. And he will be in the place of Kurihara. So we're making our notes, and we're ready to get this one back underway. Number 38, Akito Takabe steps to the plate. He officially tonight is 0 for 2. He had a sacrifice where he knocked a run in, and he walked. So he steps up to the plate to face Mori. This is a crucial part of the ball game. And there is the first pitch swung on. This ball is popped up on the infield. Kenta Mamiya is camping out underneath it, and that is going to be it. That's the ball game. The Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks have defeated the Chiba Lotte Marines, and your final score is 4-3. We want to thank, first of all, everybody for stopping in here tonight to listen to our stream. We're going to be back on again tomorrow night. Same time, same 2 teams, barring weather, of course, as there is rain in the area. Your final score is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 3. I'll be back in just a minute. We're going to close this out. We're going to be back and give you the full rundown and replay of this one. And then we'll call it a night. So we, again, appreciate y'all for being here. Don't forget to sub if you haven't subbed already. We do appreciate you on the call with us. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a minute. Thanks again.
All I
Welcome back, everybody. Again, we thank you all for joining us tonight. Just a quick little recap of the ball game, and that is we've got a couple of things. We've got the run scoring tonight. Fukuoka got 2 runs back in the second inning. It was a 1-out single by Kurihara, and then another single by Freddie Galvis, and a third single by Akira Nakamura that knocked in a run. And then, of course, the other run came around on an error. And so both Kurihara and Galvis scored. That gave the Hawks a 2-0 lead. Chiba came back in the third inning, bottom of the third, a leadoff walk to Yudai Fujioka. He went to second base on a single by Koki Fukuda, went to third, and a sac fly by Akito Takabe cut the lead in half to 2-1. The Chiba Lotte Marines then took the lead in the bottom of the fourth inning. It was 3 singles in a row by Laird, Sato, and Oka. And then, of course, there was the error by the catcher. It was an entertaining play. They threw the ball into center field. Ended up that Oka came all the way around to third. And then a sac fly by Taiga Hirasawa was able to cash that second run in. So Chiba had the lead 3-2 through 4. It wasn't until the 7th inning, and that's when the battle of the bullpens took over. The Fukuoka bullpen tonight was lights out. They were fantastic. They did not allow a run the rest of the way. Chiba allowed 2 runs. Shota Suzuki really struggled when he came into the game, and they ended up with a whole bunch of walks. First of all, it was the reliever Tojo came in. He struck out the first 2 batters he faced, and then he allowed a walk. And then they brought in Suzuki, who gave up a single, a walk, and a walk. And the next thing you know, they were trailing 4-3, and that was how the ball game ended up finishing. So once again, your final score, 4-3 for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks over the Chiba Lotte Marines. I'm just checking my chat again. Lane, Alexander, Big Ray, Connor. We got De Niro in the house. Everybody else who was here, Kenneth, Alex YT. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Anthony Woodfield, all of you guys for coming in and making it a great night tonight. Once again, your final score, it's the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 3. Once again, you've watched another Last Raps Baseball video production. Have a great night, everybody. We'll be back on again tomorrow at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Have a great night. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.